It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis is here. Aunt Pruitt's here. We're happy to announce our brand new team member, Paris Martineau. She's here. The DMV has suspended cruise operation in San Francisco. We'll talk about why. Google has a good quarter, but the stock market's not happy. We have some thoughts about that and how to get out of a corn maze. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 739, recorded Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Panic in the Cul-de-sac. This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by Discourse, the online home for your community. Discourse makes it easy to have meaningful conversations and collaborate anytime, anywhere. Visit discourse.org/twit to get 1 month free on all self-serve plans. It's time for Twig, This Week in Google, the show that's about everything but Google. But we promise everything we talk about today, you can Google if you wish. You can search for it on Google.
That counts.
Yes, that's Aunt Pruitt of the famous Pruitt clan.
That's right.
At Pruitt.com. He is also the club manager, the community manager in Club TWiT, and good pal, and produces a bunch of shows and
TD and all that good stuff.
All that stuff. And he's a great
Lots of
photographer.
fun.
He's our Adobe guy. With him, next to him, Jeff Jarvis, who is, of course, the official Leonard Dow Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. But he is deorbiting his career.
I am deorbiting. Who, by the way, told me the other day when I saw him that he is a fan of our newest cast member.
And that is the big announcement.
That is important.
We've been waiting because we had to get confirmation from her management. She writes for the information, and the information has given her a green light. Ladies and gentlemen, our newest official full-time cast member, Paris Martineau. Yay! Craig Newmark's favorite host.
Wow, thanks, Craig. What does Craig think about your song?
He
loves it.
Insisted on it.
Yes.
That's good.
We got to do this again. He once appeared on the show in the circle above Leo.
Yeah, he did.
As we had the show. So.
Oh, that's very smart. I do think every once in a while you just need to have somebody there to kind of keep you in check.
Oh,
that's what he does. That's what our
pretty much
does.
Everybody's here to keep me in check. That's the whole point of this show. And when we had to replace Stacy, we didn't want to. She got a great job at Consumers Reports. She's working policy for them. We needed to find somebody who was equally feisty. Mm-hmm. And I think we found her.
She is.
Yeah, she's going to keep me in place.
But, young lady, you didn't come on time today, and it was noted in your permanent record.
No, it wasn't.
Listen, I blame Steve Jobs and the entire MacBook ecosystem, frankly. I had to reset my computer. So, this might be actually a good thing for a podcast called This Week in Google.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Hey, here's a big story.
I just want to say, I'm so, as the guy who won't leave, who never leaves the party, I just want to say how happy I am that Paris is here. It's just
Jeff has been with the show since we started in 2009-14.
He's tried to get rid of me. He's tried everything. It hasn't worked.
Yeah. We thought you'd be dead by now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Just kidding. We Josh, Jeff and I are brothers from a different mother, and we act like brothers, right? There's a little sibling rivalry going on here. But no, I love this panel, and I think I'm so thrilled
it's clicking. Yeah,
we got Paris joining us. So thank you, Paris, for putting up with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Now, hope you don't get sick of me too soon.
Nope. No, never gonna happen. Pretty much people get sick of us long before.
It's usually the other way around.
Yeah. All right, Leo. Sorry, I interrupted.
California DMV has completely suspended Cruise's robo-taxi permit. They are off the road in San Francisco. That is huge. You couldn't go anywhere in San Francisco without seeing Google's Waymo vehicles and GM's Cruise vehicles everywhere.
But is Waymo still on the road and Cruise?
Yes, but here's what happened. You may not have heard this back in New Jersey. Do you have news back there? But what happened?
We have people who actually drive their cars here. So you lazy little suckers.
I think there's just someone on the corner who kind of shouts the day's headlines in Hoboken, right?
Today in San Francisco. This is from TechCrunch. The DMV's order of suspension, which TechCrunch has viewed, states that Cruise withheld video footage from an ongoing investigation.
Oh boy!
So a few weeks ago, it's a sad story. A standard vehicle driven, I think it might have been a truck, by a human, struck a pedestrian, kind of in the middle of the night. Later, the woman flew into the air. And got in a Cruise robo-taxi, drove over her, and then dragged her. And killed her.
Oh God!
So it was a mess. It was a terrible, terrible thing. Now these things, by the way, I should point out, people get hit fairly frequently. Pedestrians get hit in San Francisco. It's not an unusual thing. Sometimes they get killed.
Yeah.
But the issue was that the DMV said, we want to see you. We know you. There was no video of the initial strike, but there was subsequent video from the robo-taxi. During the meeting, this is from the Department of Motor Vehicles in California, the department was shown video footage of the accident captured by the AV's onboard cameras. The video footage presented to the department ended with the AV's initial stop following a hard braking maneuver. Footage of the subsequent movement of the AV to perform a pullover maneuver was not shown to the department. Cruise did not disclose that any additional movement of the vehicle had occurred after the initial stop. The department only learned of the AV's subsequent movement, which incidentally killed the pedestrian, via discussion with another government agency. In other words, Cruise hid the fact. The other government agency was the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, which has also opened its own investigation. It happened October 2nd, early in the month.
Cruise's GM, yeah?
Yep. The AV
Stock
traveled
went up none today, nonetheless.
The portion of the video that the DMV says it did not view initially showed the Cruise robo-taxi after coming to a complete stop, attempting a pullover maneuver with the pedestrian trapped underneath the vehicle. It traveled 20 feet going as fast as 7 miles an hour before coming to a complete and final stop. That's sad to say that's what killed her. So because, they didn't cooperate, they lied. Basically, tried to hide it. The DMV says you can no longer operate. I'm not sure how long the suspension will continue. They can continue to test with a safety driver. It's just no longer will they be allowed to drive without a safety driver. They had gotten, this is a month after the California Public Utilities Commission gave them full permission to operate without safety drivers at all times of the day or night everywhere in the city.
I didn't think it'd been that
meanwhile,
long.
this just gets me. Tesla's supposed automatic driving is allowed on the road. If anything should be regulated in technology, it's that piece of crap.
Yeah.
But Mr. Jarvis, some will argue that, there's plenty of humans behind the wheels killing more people than these autonomous vehicles. Is that fair?
Perfectly fair, Ant. Yes, but I'm the one on the show who often says, be careful of regulation.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm saying if you're going to regulate anything, a 3,000-pound supercharged vehicle on the road that hasn't fully been tested, that hasn't been taken through a regulatory structure for approval, is allowed to drive on its own. At least Cruise and Waymo are regulated and are tested and can do this.
Sure.
It's just Musk just has this thing just out there in his in that Muskian way, and that's what gets me.
There's the further argument that despite these accidents, and horrific as they may be, these autonomous vehicles are, for the most part, much safer than, as you point out, than human.
But they're truly autonomous vehicles as opposed to Musk's kind of autonomous vehicle.
Okay, but I would say even Musk's vehicles are safer than, and have fewer accidents than
than the teenager that's just 18 years old just this past Saturday. They went up Highway 101 at 100 miles an hour and hit another car and is facing about 8 felony charges.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That was just
that
the other
happens
day.
all the time. So, I mean, I'm looking. Go ahead.
I think the thing in question here, though, is whether or not, like, the difference between obviously a single human driver and a company that is looking to put a bunch of these vehicles on the road is that you have kind of a one area where you can create kind of a stopgap, where you can slow down potential crashes or issues for a large number of vehicles at once. I think this is probably more of a question of, like, how do you want to set up the future of this technology and its adoption? And I agree with Jeff in this case. It is a little odd that given the scrutiny that his contemporaries have faced, that Tesla's, auto driving features aren't being regulated in this way. I mean, it feels like even with this Cruise incident, obviously the only reason why they're being completely shut down is because they seem to have lied to investigators.
They failed to report?
A no-go, Yeah,
I think we'd be better off even with Tesla's autonomous driving than we are with human driving.
But still need to regulate them.
But to me, Jeff, I'm surprised you're not hollering moral panic, because this is a really good example of how technology is held to a higher standard than humans are.
But that's my point, though, is that that Waymo and Cruise were held to a higher standard. Musk has not been. I've seen there is no. What's the approval process for Musk's technology?
Yeah, well, there's two regulating bodies. There's the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. They regulate after the fact, and then there's the people who give Tesla the permission in the first place.
But did he ever get permission to run?
Yes.
By whom? When? Under what?
Well, in fact, this was a battle. I'm trying to remember the name of the other federal body that does this. They're the ones that set the regulations. Hold on,
part of the problem too is the lie of it being autonomous, because it is not.
Right.
Well, but that's just marketing.
Yeah.
It's false advertising. It's fraud
or something at one time, and then they changed it to something else.
Okay, so there's I still can't remember the name of the company. There's NHTSA, which implements laws from Congress and regulations, and the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. And then
I see this from 20.
Is it OSHA? I can't remember who the other one is.
Tesla. Let me see what this is. Reuters from 2022 October, so a year ago.
Chat room is
Tesla cars will not be approved as fully self-driving, Musk says.
Okay.
But then he goes out there and says it's fully self-driving. And he sells it.
Yeah.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
That's what upsets me. I'm trying to find what agency? I can't find that either, Leo.
Is it the Department of Transportation? It might be DOT.
Yeah, Eric Duckman says DOT.
Might be DOT. So the DOT gave permission for him to operate. Actually, each state has to give permission, I think, for autonomous vehicles to operate. But DOT, I think, the problem, and I do remember this, we're going to have to get Sam Abul-Samad on, because I do remember there was some conflict between, is it DOT, whoever it is, DOT that sets the regulations, and whoever investigates the regulations. Oh, maybe it's the NTSB. That's what it is.
It is the NTSB.
Oh, yeah. So it was it was the
NHTSA.
It was NHTSA versus NTSB. NHTSA sets the regulations, gave permission to Tesla. The NTSB investigates the crashes. And the NTSB has said several times, just as Consumer Reports has said and others, that there should be NHTSA should have stronger regulations on when self-driving can be used. For instance, on most vehicles, my Ford, for instance, with Blue Cruise, and GM has its own kind of self-driving, it's only on highways that have been mapped. And it's not on surface streets.
Okay.
But Tesla allows you to use their self-driving on surface streets.
Parking lots.
And the NTSB has said to NHTSA, you should not allow that.
Yeah.
But NHTSA continues to allow that. So I think there's actually a little battle between the NTSB and
as of August 24, story in Reuters again, is saying that trying to resolve a 2-year investigation into Tesla Autopilot and could make a public announcement soon.
NTSB.
And NHTSA.
Oh, okay.
And what are they looking to resolve in this case? Whether or not this should be allowed to proceed generally?
Yeah.
They're concerned about. They're concerned about. NHTSA raises more concerns about Tesla's autopilot safety. I'm
again,
definitely start by
Cruise
changing
and Waymo.
autopilot.
But let me ask this question.
Sorry.
So I don't want to go after any particular company, whether it's GM or Tesla, but are these autonomous vehicles? Here's the problem. In order to get better, they need to do it in the real world.
True.
They can only go so far in the lab. They need to get out there. That's what Cruise and Waymo with Google have been doing, is going out in approved communities. First it was Phoenix, and then later San Francisco, San Diego, and actually do some driving. At first they could only do it during the daytime with a safety driver, but it needs to get this data so it gets better and better. Elon has just said, well, we're just going to do it, and we'll get the data, and we'll get better and better. I think you could still make an argument that all of these systems are safer than human drivers, that the vast majority, it'd have to come down to per passenger mile, I guess. But I would bet, I don't know, I'll have to look, that per passenger mile, human-conducted vehicles are still more dangerous than autonomous vehicles.
But answer me this, Leo. Well, first, but if you're promising something, if you're saying the car can drive on its own and it really can't, that's an issue.
Yes.
But second, both Cruise and both GM and Google have a whole raft of sensors that Musk says, we don't need those. And that's what concerns me.
I
is
agree.
That he
should
thinks
be
that
more
he can just do anything.
Yes.
I think there's also maybe like an easier question to answer here, which is that part of this should go back to, we haven't figured out the liability issues plainly yet. Like in these cases where, say, like what Jeff's talking about, you start using a Tesla's full self-driving features, taking it at its word, it ends up hitting someone, God forbid, killing someone. Who is liable in that case? Is it you because you were behind the wheel? Is it you and Tesla? Is it more Tesla than you? I think that we need to probably figure out a regulatory framework that can be applied in cases of liability in order to kind of have the second or third steps in these situations figured out.
So here's
Leo,
some stats. I've got some stats.
I do too.
Go ahead.
Let's see who's...
Are humans better drivers than you thought?
According to, I guess NHTSA, autonomous vehicles are involved in more crashes, 9.1 crashes per million miles traveled compared to 4.1 for conventional vehicles. But injuries in traditional vehicle collisions are usually worse than they are in autonomous, because a lot of autonomous vehicle crashes are low speed.
Well, here's the fatality
I'm also
rate.
interested, though, does that, those fatality and injury rates for human-driven vehicles, does that include commercial vehicles like tractor trailers or things like that? Because those aren't frequently driven in an autonomous way, but those can bump up your injury and fatality rates.
Right. Well, here's what I have from the American Prospect. The overall fatal accident rate for auto travel, according to NHTSA, was 1.35 deaths per 100 million miles traveled in 2022. In other words, Tesla's FSD system is likely on the order of 10 times more dangerous at driving than humans.
Where's that from?
American Prospect.
In fatalities.
Search safety of Tesla Autopilot. It'll come up.
All right, that's interesting. From Cade Metz, writing for Ars Technica, he looked at every crash report Waymo and Cruise filed in California this year. The two companies, Waymo and Cruise, reported 102 crashes involving driverless vehicles. That's over 6 million miles of traveling, which is one crash for every 60,000 miles. That's about 5 years of driving for a typical human motorist. They tend to be low-speed crashes. Humans drive close to 100 million miles between fatal crashes. So
Okay.
it sounds like humans are safer,
Yeah, okay.
which kind of surprises me.
A fatal accident rate. It's implying a fatal accident rate of 11.3 deaths per 100 million miles versus 1.35 for human.
Yeah. Now, presumably, autonomous vehicles are getting better, right? I mean, I don't know if they
and
are,
you're
but-
right about the training. You're right about all that. But I think that Google and until lately GM, that was a bad management problem, not a technology problem in what they did. They've been doing it, I think, in a careful and measured way, and I'm fine with that. It's my argument is that, as with so much, Musk just gets away with doing whatever the hell he wants.
There's another thing to point out, which is that almost invariably when a Tesla or other autonomous vehicles crash, they crash with a car driven by humans. And so it's a little muddying the waters because
could the human had intervened
could
sooner?
the human have made maybe the human that they crashed into caused the accident. I think often it's the case with AVs that they do fine in known conditions, but as soon as there's an erratic situation, like a pedestrian
I would say the same is true of humans. Humans typically probably do well in known conditions, but if you have an erratic individual thrown in the mix, you're gonna probably have some issues.
All right. I think that the jury's a little bit still out, but I have been disabused of the notion that autonomous vehicles are better drivers than humans are, which I had thought.
I'm quoting about Tesla particularly. I don't know about Cruise and Waymo.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like it's also true of Cruise and Waymo. And Cruise, as of now, is no longer operating in San Francisco or anywhere in California, which is kind of a surprise. They just got permission from the California PUC to go have at it, have fun.
That TechCrunch article, they didn't
it is such a short.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying it's such a short-sighted move by Cruise and whoever in management made the decision to try and bury this information.
That was dumb.
I think, like we were talking about at the top,
who made that call?
Accidents happen. You have to be transparent about them. I mean, there's no other way around that.
All right.
Their intention was to, in 2022, the company operated 100 robo-taxis in San Francisco, announced their intentions to increase the size of the fleet to 5,000.
Yeah.
Well, not now.
Yeah. It was already jammed. I mean, these Cruise and Waymo vehicles are everywhere in the city. You see every third
Have you driven
vehicle.
in them? Or ridden
No.
in them?
By the way, I will put.
You're not there yet, huh?
I will not put my money where my mouth is. I would much prefer to be in a human-driven vehicle. As scary as that can be, the scariest ride I've ever taken was the ride from Rome to the airport in April.
Oh.
It was terrifying. He was going 100 miles an hour.
But would a robot vehicle have gotten you there that fast, Leo? Probably
No, that's true. We weren't late, though. I mean, we had.
You don't say.
I do think they should try and test. I mean, as someone who cycles, this is probably not something I actually want. But I think the final frontier for autonomous vehicles is if they can drive in New York City.
True.
And notice no one's
Lots
trying.
of challenges. Yeah. Lots of challenges.
I mean, I think there's probably a good reason.
Oh, no.
I would think, now this is again going to be just my thinking as opposed to actual fact, that cyclists are safer with autonomous vehicles. They're less likely to get hit than an inattentive human. Right, that's what always scares me when I'm bicycling is somebody reaching down.
Is it because of
to
the
put the 8-track into the 8-track machine and they go, oh, whoa!
Is it because of the reflectors or what? Because they're small
I think they can see
objects.
bikes. But I think they can see bikes. And unlike human drivers, they're always looking. But human drivers,
I think that is the difference.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
At least in New York, from what I've seen anecdotally, most cycling-related deaths and accidents here happen because someone's making a left or right turn, isn't looking.
They're not looking.
And just, hits a cyclist. And unfortunately in New York, drivers think you can get away with that, and you most often can, so they're never caught.
So
but at least
sad.
with a autonomous vehicle, it has to be looking. That's its whole job.
Sonoma County scared me straight with the cyclists. It's just turning off of the expressway, just making a right turn, and you don't see them there. And it scared the crap out of me a couple times.
Have you ever been doored, Paris?
No, but I'm always very afraid of it.
Constantly.
Especially because the bike lanes are right next to the doors of the cars that are parked. It's not what you want.
I always look to see if there's anybody in the car. And if there is, I kind of try to give them a wide berth because you never know. Good news. Here's a surprise. Google's in the advertising business.
Oh, they are?
What?
Third quarter of 2023 results are out from Google. 71% of the revenue comes from advertising.
Down from 98. So they've considerably...
Oh, that's a good way to slant that. Yeah.
Considerably, what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
Reduced?
Diversified.
Diversified.
What is
Or
making
not a
up for that
monopoly now,
difference?
That's a good question.
Cloud. A lot of cloud.
Fundamental strength, according to Ruth Porat, fundamental strength of our business was apparent again in Q3. $77 billion in revenue. That's up 11% year over year, driven by meaningful growth in search and YouTube and momentum in cloud.
The stock went down 9.5%. And why?
Why?
Because the cloud revenue was disappointing.
Yeah. Cloud was not good for Google. Microsoft's earnings came out as well this week, and they had much better cloud results. It's really come down to AWS and Azure. We were talking about that on Windows Weekly. And Google Cloud is really a laggard. Although traffic was up, it wasn't like it was down. It went from $6.8 billion revenue in 2022 to $8.4 billion revenue in 2023. Still, that's a small number compared to AWS and Azure.
Yeah, I also think there's a lot of hype around Microsoft and ChatGPT until they get sued a million times.
Right.
They're catching up, which is ridiculous because Google has done so much more about AI, but the hype around generative AI just got away from them.
Cloud lost nearly $500 million last year. It made a tiny profit, $266 million this year. It's not a significant profit. Google services went from $18 billion to $23 billion. Other bets.
That include me paying for the damn service that I get pissed off at?
Yeah, I was about to say, it's all Jeff.
Other bets lost money, but not quite as much as the year before. Corporate costs unallocated doubled for some reason. Total income from all operations this year, $21 billion. That's $7 billion a month. That's a nice little payday for Google.
Nice.
They just laid off a lot of people in their news division.
Did they? Did Richard Gingras lose his job?
No, he's not because he's at policy level.
Okay.
But some developing people I know are gone. And,
What about like every other editor that's worked at The Verge and then went to Google? Are they all right?
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
You know, the same thing happened to us, but for Apple. Many of our hosts ended up working for Apple News.
That's true.
And I don't know if they're all still there, but yeah. Let's see. Forward-looking statements, blah, blah, blah. GAAP, non-GAAP. R&D increased. I guess, really, we're not here to give you stock advice. The only reason we talk about earnings reports on our shows is, what do we learn about the company from that? And what we've learned about Google is, yes, they're still very heavily dependent on advertising, but less so than before. That's, if that's interesting.
Does this take that target off of Google's back with the big decrease in search and advertising?
No.
Still too big to be.
Yeah.
I think every tech company wishes that, a quarterly or yearly drop in revenue would be enough to get the target off their back. But nope.
Yeah.
Profit
Doesn't work like that.
Profit was up 42%.
And even so,
Pretty
nasty Wall Street.
Pretty good. Exceeding expectations. Wall Street's expectations. Yeah, it's interesting that the price went down. Investors were disappointed by the relatively weak performance of the Google Cloud platform, which is at risk of falling further behind, according to Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services. Behind those two, according to Jesse Cohen, an analyst at investing.com. Yeah, 6% drop Tuesday night on Alphabet's share price.
This is why
it seems to me, I
never-
guess, because cloud sales rose only like 21% from the same period a year ago, which is a slower growth rate than it had seen previously. It's the same sort of story I think tech companies all over are seeing, which is, of course, after this huge boom period, year ago comparisons, you're never going to be able to match that again.
But I mean, I would be thrilled if my business was 21% better than last year.
That's what I don't get with these analysts. How do they know this and say, you know what, 21 billion, that ain't enough profit. I'm sorry.
Paris, is it that the multiplier for tech businesses is the benchmark is so much higher than it is for normal businesses? I mean, most businesses don't grow 21% a year.
No.
It's because we're just coming off of this period where everything was up and to the right for like a decade, and it got only exponentially more so during the pandemic. All these companies were seeing crazy gains, and it seemed, to their shareholders and executives that it was only up from here. But of course, that's not realistic. And now that you're seeing the entire kind of economy course correct, companies like Google Cloud in particular, because Google Cloud, I guess it's worth pointing out, these sort of its customers are other businesses that are also being impacted by these same market forces. So of course, they're going to have less money to spend on cloud services and other things when they're trying to figure out how many employees we have to lay off this quarter.
Trickle down.
I also think that and I'm reading the tea leaves here, but the market is a little disappointed with Google's AI strategy. Sundar Pichai was asked at the conference call yesterday about their investments in AI for search by an analyst. And it feels like, Sundar's answer was, well, I'll read it to you. You decide. I've been pretty pleased with how the user feedback has been on SGE. That's their search, AI for search. We're rolling it out to more users. Over time, there will be newer paths, just like we've done over on YouTube. I think with the AI work, there are subscription models as a possible path as well. He's so equivocal. I feel like the Wall Street said, they have no plan. They have no strategy. What's their strategy for AI?
Running up against the wall.
Microsoft's eating them alive.
Well, but that's what's screwed up. They have a huge strategy for AI. It's in everything they do. It's in Translate. It's in Search. It's in Autocomplete. It's in Maps. It's everywhere in Google. They have been true to that. But generative AI that can write and tell lies, they're behind.
According to Business Insider,
I think it's also that, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I think it's also that Google's, they don't break out the costs for OpenAI or DeepMind, but it's AI team DeepMind, the kind of bucket that they put those costs in. It's called unallocated corporate costs. Those expenses jumped 40% to $1.6 billion this quarter.
Training
which is
expensive. Operating these LLMs is really expensive.
I think you have to be a good salesman or showman to convince investors that is worth waiting to see the results of if you're posting those sort of large increases.
That's the one thing Sundar Pichai is not.
No, he is a neutral man.
Yeah, he does not. Yeah. He does not turn on the showbiz charm by any means. Oh, we got trouble right here in River City. And that starts with a G and it begins with P, and that stands for Google.
I think you should take up tap dancing. That could be kind of fun.
Business Insider says Wall Street is nervous about any big changes to Google search because search ads are so lucrative and it's the bulk of Google's income. Turning the traditional search experience into a chat GPT style user interface could disrupt how ads appear and perform. So Google is treading carefully.
But Google says that they're adding ads to AI. That's one story that's out there today. Number one. Number two, they're also looking to as since it works so well with Workspace, charge subscription rates for AI. So they're trying to. I wonder, Leo, what the proportion is of search ads versus network-wide advertising versus the ad marketplaces. I don't think they break out.
They probably don't break that out.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because I think that the search ad proportion, I know, has been going down. And search ads have been somewhat less lucrative, but that's because they've taken over advertising all over. And that's where the antitrust, to your point earlier, Ant, that's where the antitrust pressure is on them.
Well, anyway, to my untutored eye, and this is why I don't play the market, it was a good quarter for Google. I don't know. Yeah. But
Down 10%.
I can understand maybe a little nervousness around Google's future because I honestly don't know what their AI strategy is. And apparently neither does Sundar Pichai. Let's take a little break. More to come with This Week in Google. Our show this week brought to you by Wix. Oh, web agencies, you're going to love this one. Let me tell you about Wix Studio, the platform that gives agencies total freedom, creative freedom to deliver complex client sites while still smashing deadlines. How? Well, first, let's talk about the advanced design capabilities. With Wix Studio, you can build unique layouts with a revolutionary grid experience and watch as elements scale proportionally by default. No code animation adds sparks of delight, while custom CSS gives total design control. And it doesn't stop there. You can bring ambitious client projects to life in any industry with a fully integrated suite of business solutions from e-com to events, bookings, and more. And extend the capabilities even further with hundreds of APIs and integrations. And you know what? The workflows just make sense. They're the built-in AI tools, the centralized workspace, the on-canvas collaborating, the reuse of assets across sites, the seamless client handover. And that's not all. Find out more at wix.com/studio. WIX, wix.com/studio. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Google. Hey, good news. Tinder now lets friends and family pick your next date.
What's Tinder?
Oh, you old married man.
The look on
That's the thing you use to kind of start a fire when you're out in the wilderness.
Yes, Tinder.
That's really useful.
That I do
He's
know.
such a Boy Scout. You're right, Paris.
So
It's true.
I don't know you that well, Paris. Are you? I don't even know if you're single. Do you use dating apps? Have you ever used dating apps? I know you're young.
I am a recently single person after 5 years of being off the market, and dating apps terrify me. So I don't know. Maybe this is my future. I guess I got to find friends to recommend me to folks.
This is hard.
Seems awful.
This is hard. I remember, when you've not been single for a long time and suddenly you're out in the dating pool. And these apps are intimidating. There's lots of them. So maybe you should let your mom pick your next date. Matchmaker allows Tinder users to invite up to 15 loved ones. 15 to play Cupid and recommend potential partners directly within the app.
Wonder why they
Jesus
thought this was
Christ.
an idea. Would you do this off of
in
an
real
app?
life, no. And now I thank God have never been single in the apps era.
I've never been single.
I've never,
That's showtime.
pretty much never been single, actually. But as a dedicated serial monogamist, but it was always my experience that setups were the best way to meet somebody. A friend says, "Hey, I know that's how I met."
Yeah.
All my wives.
Do you have binders full of them, Leo?
That sounded really wrong. But it's
He's actually
true.
blushing.
No,
You
I
never
get
see that.
that.
It's true.
Yeah, you're turning the same color as your shirt.
That does not happen.
So the setup, which is that a friend, I bet you'd agree with me, Ant,
Yeah,
that
I
the
agree.
best way to meet somebody is to have a friend say, I know this, you two are a match.
Yeah.
Offices are also very good places to meet.
Offices.
Yeah.
I met my
And,
wife.
But
many
no one
cultures,
says, "Hey, Ma, can you set me up with
No,
so-and-so?"
well, not in the U.S., but in many other cultures, Ma
Okay.
insists.
All right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
In fact, I have friends even today whose parents and family were very upset that they didn't allow an arranged marriage, that they were going to you're going to choose your husband or
They're
wife.
Indian?
That's nuts. Yeah, Indian.
yeah.
I don't, and of course, matchmakers. Matchmaker, make me a match. You know that. Have
We're really showing off all your talents.
Mr. Broadway today.
One thing you need to know here is Ant hates musicals.
I know, that's why I
Oh,
like to
I'm
sing
so
to him.
sorry for you.
I know, they're the
Yeah.
best, aren't
What
they?
happened to
We
your
have another
heart?
musical fan?
Love musicals.
No.
Was a theater
Oh,
kid.
here we go.
That's the
Torture
question.
coming.
What happened to your heart, Aunt Pruitt?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Sad.
It was.
You know what, Paris?
Ripped
His
out by
wife
musicals.
performed in musicals.
His wife.
Yes.
That's a devastating look into your marital life. It's quite.
Tinder would never have matched you two. No.
Yeah.
Well, but I do agree with the whole someone coming in and intervene and say, hey, you should meet so and so, because that's how she and I met too. And it was even a blind date.
Yeah. It sort of is blind because it's a setup, and they say, look, I'm going to set up this you two because it's, and that is, I think, a very common way. So that's kind of what happens.
We also had personals back in the day. The New York Review of Books.
All right.
Personal's not a good idea. These
There's
days,
kind of a whole app in the queer dating community that is personals based. It's called Lex. Essentially, what it is text based posts for dating. I have a lot of friends who seem to really like it.
Interesting.
I've never heard of this. Lex.lgbt. And their slogan is, if it's queer, it's here. Which is nice. That's good. Which is nice.
It was on the nose.
So this is more than just dating. This is.
I mean, I feel like a lot of dating apps nowadays are trying to expand beyond dating, but it originally kind of started as queer personals, much like you would have, in your local newspaper.
Right. Personal seems so dangerous to me. I can't imagine.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, sure.
But times have changed.
I want to meet somebody. I'm going to put an ad in the paper and meet you somewhere. Whew, yeah,
so
times have
years
changed.
ago, I knew a woman who ran a blog called Tokyo Shoes, and she lived in Tokyo, and her boyfriend was there, and she was there for like 8 years, and then they broke up. And she wrote, it was a wonderful blog. She doesn't do it anymore. But she came back, and I was writing about blogs, and I met her. And the thing that struck her most coming back from Japan to the U.S. is, my God, now everyone dates online. And when she left, it was like, no, nobody talks about that. Nobody does that. I went back. Everybody was just matter of fact about it and said, yeah, that's how I find people is online. It is so common now.
Huh.
But it's the way it's
I think most of my friends probably have met their partners online.
I don't know if I could do that.
With an app online?
I don't know if I can do that either. And that's the terrifying thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
But
could
you
do
gotta.
But then
There's
again,
this Instagram account I really love called Old NY Mag. One, it posts, I guess, clips from old New York magazines. But the thing I like about it the most is it posts old personal ads from New York Mag, and it's fantastic.
timeless.
They were great, and the Village Voice and the New York Review of Books is where you were classy and horny.
I just found
Wow.
Ant's ad.
Wow.
Free spirit, handsome, athletic New Yorker, 49, seeking tall, willowy beauty, 27 to 39 for adventures, love, and more. Phone and photo a must.
Nailed it.
If you
No
like
musicals.
pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, I'm following this Instagram.
Oh,
This is
man.
good.
It's great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
There are some funny ones in there.
Here's one.
Leo,
Gay
by
woman,
chance,
late
there's-
50s, bored, uninspired, in need of a miracle.
That comes wrapped in style and grace. You didn't finish.
32, extremely beautiful Christian lady who is refined, educated, affectionate, and secure, seeks the right gentleman. Her greatest goal, to be happily married. I wonder if she did. Don't you wonder now?
Yeah.
Oh, boy,
Yeah, you
yeah.
wonder.
She
really
should
do.
be hooked up with the gay woman who's in the late 50s and bored and uninspired, I think. We could
They can settle.
They
yeah.
could settle, yeah. Come here, handsome. I'm quite a treat. Let's try out our dancing feet or smash the ball across the court. I hit hard. I'm an athletic sort. I'm in the world of high finance. I'm a woman who loves romance. I read, I travel, I love to learn. For that special man I now do yearn. Come out of hiding. Knock on my door. I'm waiting for you at age 24. What?
Oh, geez.
No.
What?
No
What?
way.
Okay, and this 24-year-old had enough money to shell out for that long of
It's
a
a
person.
long ad.
The word.
Yeah, this was from December 16th, 1985.
At 24 is a lie.
Yeah, at 44, my life.
At 24 is a lie.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know how we got into
So,
that. but
Leo,
that
if you
was
go
fun.
down to line 79,
Please,
though, there's an intro
send me to line
78.
79.
Keep changing.
Please, I beg of you. Online dating is a personal nightmare, but according to the Washington Post opinion piece, it's good for society.
Because
This
it
is
increases
Yu
the
Joe.
diversity of couples,
Oh,
which is interesting.
okay. Diversity.
Quiz here. Imagine that's a quiz. You're supposed to take.
Oh, should I do this? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Imagine you are an average American, and Paris, we'll ask for your answers on this one. On the dating market today, what do you think is your chance of ending a relationship with someone from a different race or ethnicity?
The average
50%? Or the average American? I don't know.
No, imagine you're the average. Yeah.
33%?
Pretty low. I think that's even high, but I'll put 33 because you're the expert. Submit.
Okay.
All right, there's one. Your answer is higher. 22% of newlywed Americans married a person.
Okay,
of a
but I
different
did get that it was a double number, so that counts.
2 digits. It's 2 digits.
This isn't poker.
What is the chance of entering a relationship with someone of a different race or an ethnicity as an average American online? Oh, I think
it's got to be higher.
It's got to be 50.
So maybe this is 33 or 50. Yeah.
Yeah. You're correct.
Yeah.
The chance of entering an interracial relationship is higher online. One study put the probability at about 30%. Oh.
Well, she was closer in the first.
Closer, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
you're going to go places where people like you go, the bars, the
And
restaurants,
it's not
the
that
clubs.
somebody you know already introduces you, as is your method, Leo. Then you're stuck in your filter bubble
That's right.
of real life.
So online dating
the
gets
internet
you
breaks filter bubbles.
It gets you out of your filter bubble. Yeah.
It does. That's what it does.
Or
I think that's good for society.
If it's Fiddler on the Roof, your gefilte bubble.
Stop with the musicals.
It makes no sense, but it was funny. Okay, that's a good argument.
That's our highest standard.
Yeah, I don't care if it makes sense.
Mandy the Clown, it was a blind date.
Interestingly, though, and I've thought this, Lisa and I have both thought this, that the future really is of mixed marriages, right? Interracial marriages.
Yep.
And we're just all going to be a melting pot. We're at
Ad
some point
agencies
going to
definitely think that. If you
yeah,
look
I know.
at every
All the
ad,
marriages are mixed on the ads. Yeah, we're all just going to be a light caramel color at some point.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't.
Keep going
I think
down
it's
that
good.
story, Leo.
So there's a steady rise of intermarriage in the United States. 22% of newlyweds in 2021, 14% of all married couples. So, and I think, if it's your first
Honestly,
marriage,
that's
it's higher.
lower than I thought.
Yeah. This is data provided to Yo-Yo by Coffee Meets Bagel, a dating app for people.
Oh, that's a New York City dating app,
Fascinating.
as one would probably expect.
Coffee Meets Bagel, or CMB. Wow, that's really interesting.
Why are there so many of these?
There's a lot of these, aren't there? I had never heard of this one.
For you.
Let's see
So the
what else.
percentage of Americans who express approval for marriage between black and white people in 2021, what do you guess that percentage is?
Well, they give 3 very high percentages, all in the majority, 94, 84,
I feel like
and
it's got to be like
76%.
90 something.
Oh,
right?
no, I think it's the lowest I could pick. Nope. Oh, it's higher than what I thought. 94%. You're right. Hey, you know your people.
And
Most
the next
Americans accept interracial marriage. It wasn't so long ago that the Supreme Court decided in the Love case that it was even legal.
Yes.
Yep.
It was even legal.
Was it 60?
Yeah.
Like 60.
The Loving, what was, yeah.
It's Loving v. Virginia?
Loving v.
That's it.
Virginia.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
think it was like 19.
We've come
In
a
1995,
long way.
2% of couples
67,
first
yep.
met their partners online. Can you guess how many couples first met each other online in 2017?
40?
I'd say like 30.
Right, you are the first guess.
40.
40.
Almost half.
40%.
That's crazy.
Almost half.
And that's 2017. So since then,
It's got to be a lot higher.
Right.
So Paris.
Listen, I got to download them. I think that we should just go back to. I think speed dating sounds really fun. I think
Is that
we
still?
should
I
bring
think it's
that
still
back.
around. That's where you go to a coffee shop
I
and
want
there's
no
20
part of it.
people, 20 women, 20 men, and you sit across from somebody and you got a minute, and you drink and you talk and you ask questions.
I mean, you can figure it out in like 45 seconds.
You do know, don't you? You should trust your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's faster than
So
that.
Leo, I'm going to reveal something new here for your list.
Okay.
Do you know that I was once named one of San Francisco's 100 most eligible bachelors by San Francisco.
Oh my! Hold on. How is that not on?
Were you
here?
single?
Okay,
How is
is there
that
a
not
photo?
on here? You serious?
Yep.
That should have been like one of the top things on there.
We got to update the card, John.
Yeah.
We got to update
Wait,
the card.
what is the card?
Oh, this.
Oh, this is Jeff's
All of
intro
Jeff's
card.
stuff.
All the things that he is, plus the
Emeritus.
That's great.
number 6. Wait a minute, number 6 on the card. Murphy Brown called him a bottomless pit of hate. Oh, no, it is on the card.
It's on there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I bragged about this.
Formerly
already.
one of San Francisco's 100 most eligible bachelors.
I went to the party
list.
and I met a woman I dated briefly named Janice McKenzie, who's very nice. And
she was She worked for San Francisco Chronicle. What? Why did you bring her up? Why is she a part of this?
She's a PR person.
Oh, she was a PR
Reminiscing
person.
about his bachelor
She's
days.
a Republican.
A Republican PR person who named
Wow.
you one of the most. Wow.
Okay, wait. Do we have this article somewhere? Does it have like a fun photo of you? Does it have like a list of the things you like to
Don't
do? And
we
is it
wish?
like talk
Don't
about
we wish?
moral panics?
Wait, let me just search because everything's on Google these days.
I mean, I've tried Jeff Jarvis and eligible bachelor. Nothing's coming up. Other than an article that says America's most eligible bachelor is a 72-year-old grandpa, which I don't think is about you.
I think that's the golden. What is that? They call that the golden bachelor, right? Wait a minute. It looks like there aren't many great matches for you. It says right here.
Wow.
Well, we do have
Little on
this
the nose.
picture.
Now, if I showed you this
The Great
picture,
Bachelor.
Paris, would you say? When those are the nerdiest glasses I have ever seen.
Haunting eyes.
That says one of the most sought after.
Wow.
Tell Paris how you got that.
I bought it on eBay.
Someone was selling that on eBay?
Yeah.
What does it say at the bottom?
It says Jeff Jarvis, founding managing editor of Entertainment Weekly. And for some
$2.
reason,
Wow.
your name is circled in pen. I think that means you're next to the Zodiac Killer. I don't know what that is.
Good hair, dude.
Wow.
What you think?
I think you
Yeah,
are very
I like the
handsome
beard.
fella.
Good hair.
And
I like the glasses. They're very in right now.
I was just going to say,
All right,
after
man.
looking at those glasses and looking at Paris, I
Miss
thought,
Paris, yeah.
pretty similar.
matchmaker, make
There
me
is
a
one
match.
more.
Find me a find. Catch me a catch.
Oh my God.
Now, the other guy is the publisher.
You got to get that one framed.
Simon and Garfunkel.
I swear that was like a meme of Step Brothers.
God. Yeah, I think we should just keep that there for the rest of the show.
Well, I'm sure
He's
glad
done
we went
that
to
in the
line
past,
79. That's all I can say.
It was interesting.
No, it wasn't. It
interesting.
goes right up there with the Tinder thing. So actually,
It's online.
yeah. Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about this is that you forgot that him being an eligible bachelor was on the list of titles.
Well, there are a lot of things on here. This is a very long list of titles. Hey, this is, I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but it kind of underscores what we've thought all along, which is there is no Twitter replacement. We just don't need it anymore. Remember T2, which was founded by Twitter refugees, employees at Twitter who created a social network that was very much like Twitter and then rebranded itself Pebble. It is now shutting down.
Shocking.
I think it's just a matter
Did
of time.
any of you guys ever use this?
I did. I have an account.
I signed up and never used it.
Yeah.
Did
I
it
actually
rock?
liked it. No, it didn't. I get it. I get it.
You said you liked it?
It rocked, she said.
Oh.
I
Did
thought
any of you use post.news? That was the other one that was hot for a week.
yeah,
No.
that was for journalists,
I was
right?
supposed to be an advisor. Well, that's
I decided when they all started kind of popping off, I was like, I'm completely uninterested in all of these except for Blue Sky. I started seeing that it had big kind of poster energy, and I hopped on. That was the right choice.
Big
Well,
ass
I will
poster
note,
energy.
that folks on Mastodon are hoping you come on there from the Twit world.
Oh, she's already on. You're on Mastodon, aren't
Do
you?
it. No, I'm not. I hadn't joined Mastodon originally because I remember this is when everyone was migrating there. It was some server. I'm sure it isn't all of Mastodon, but some server that a lot of people were going to specifically set in the rules, no S posting. Am I allowed to say posting on this?
Oh, you have now twice. So
sorry. No S posting. Listen, we can cut it out and post.
Yeah.
No S posting. And I was like, that is antithetical to my existence. That is the reason why I post.
I invite you to join us at twit.social. That's our Mastodon instance. There's about, 8,000, 10,000 people there.
Great. I'll check it out.
And you can S-post all you want. And that's,
And guess who the moderator is, Paris?
Yeah, because I won't let you get in trouble. I'll protect you. I am the moderator.
It's Leo.
I moderated. So I think that would be a good home for you. If you want to try it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll try it out. Why not?
They seriously, I saw multiple people saying, because they love you on the show already, and they also love twit.social, so they're saying, I hope Paris comes here. I want Paris to come here. So I tried, folks.
But I kind of with you, Paris, that the closest analog to Twitter is Blue Sky, which was, created by Twitter, created by Jack Dorsey while he was CEO of Twitter as kind of an open, federated version of Twitter. And it's got a lot of the features I really like. I think it's a good analog. How about Threads? Did you look at Threads, Meta's version of Twitter?
I mean, I have an account on it, but I think I've mentioned this. I use Instagram in a very different way than I use Twitter or anything like that.
Yes.
And so Threads probably isn't for me. I don't really want to mix those two pools of followers or following.
Yeah. Threads, Zuck has just announced, has on their Meta earnings call, has 100 million MAUs, monthly active users. So that's pretty good. Remember, Twitter never got past about 350 million active users. So
even with them strong-arming people into signing up, that's still pretty good if they're actually active on it.
Yeah. Well, once a month isn't a lot, but I would maybe be more.
I find people.
I'm curious as to whether or not that, because I don't know if you guys have noticed on the Instagram app, there'll sometimes be like a little interstitial or section of your feed that shows threads.
Yep,
so are they counting that as threads activity?
Interesting. That's a good question.
You mentioned earlier when all of the different platforms started popping off, you were like, I'm just going to wait and sit back. When they started launching these things, I just decided I'm going to sign up to at least get my username.
Yeah,
because I have the Pebble or whatever it was called, T2, Pebble, T2. And I went back and looked at my account, and there's nothing there that I said other than, so this is T2, huh? And that's it. And that's it. There's nothing else. I never went back to it, but my name was secured there.
Yeah. I am torn between the idea that we don't really need a replacement for Twitter, that there never will be a replacement for Twitter, and the idea that maybe one of these, especially now that T2's disappeared, will, that over time will all kind of
I think it's about
zero in.
I think we rescale to a human scale, and we have a lot of different choices. That's the more natural state of things. And they're federated, ideally. We can move around among them. That's what I want.
Federation is a good thing. That's why I like Mastodon. Yes. And honestly, Blue Sky does, in theory, support federation, although they have yet to implement it. We won't federate with Mastodon. Ironically, Threads says it will become part of Mastodon's Fediverse, but it hasn't done that yet either.
Don't hold your breath.
I think it's hard once you've started up.
Yeah. Well, it gets harder every moment. That's right. All right. What else? Elon has removed the New York Times verification because he doesn't like them.
Doesn't like them, and it's his product. He can do it if he wants. Doesn't necessarily mean he's right, but
it's a problem, in my opinion, in the war against disinformation.
True.
But he's already screwed that up several ways by changing the meaning of the blue check.
Yeah.
By taking away, disappearing its trust and safety division. And by bringing back a lot of, evildoers, and bots don't seem to be much.
Bots are still there and thriving.
His plan to get rid of bots is the not a bot fee, the $1 a year. But it's clear if you just look at the people who are paying $8 a month, the $1 a year is not a deterrent.
Right.
Plenty of people, are S-posting, as you will. What is a post? Actually, before I say it's okay, What is that?
A post is a type. Sorry, whoever has to deal with this.
Complaining in the background. I think the S word by itself is a bad word, but this is a new word.
Yeah.
It is a new. It is a level of kind of ironic or self-aware
Irony,
posting that really took off from weird Twitter. And, I'm trying to think of a good example.
It's not a meme.
The
It's
account
not a
Drill
meme.
is posting.
Drill is post. Okay, yeah. And Drill, by the way, it has opened an account on Threads. So-
and Blue Sky.
And Blue Sky.
I think an important thing to keep in mind, and part of the decision that led to me going to Blue Sky first
Was Drill.
is every single employee of Blue Sky from kind of day dot, they would give each new employee a copy of all of Drill's tweets in book form. And they, from day one, reserved his handle. And it became kind of a conflict at first because when Drill tried to join the platform organically, he was like, my username is taken. What the heck? And then everyone who worked at Blue Sky had to be like, oh, no. We were saving it for you. And handed it to him.
So does he have Drill now?
Who is Drill?
Yeah.
He's a poster.
He is, yeah.
No, I had no idea who Drill
I
is.
just searched for Drill and I don't find him on Blue Sky.
It should be Drill.
I find people say, is Drill on here? I find people say, mostly here for Drill. I see somebody saying, I guess this is where I now follow Drill.
He's drill.bsky.social.
Oh. Well, okay, so obviously the search on Blue Sky leaves something to be desired.
That's strange because it comes up for me.
DR Drill with an I. Or
I think it might be because you're on staging.
Oh,
like
I'm
their
on
beta
I'm
testing
not on
version
the
of
I'm
it.
on the web version of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's there. I'm on staging and I find it.
It's 1L. Yeah. DRIL.
Yeah.
I found him on
I'll
staging.
post
Well, what am I doing wrong?
it in the. Oh yeah, someone just posted it in the Discord.
Okay. I click now. Oh, he's WINT.
I mean,
Wint.
no, Wint is his display name.
Well.
Drill is his username.
Okay. All right.
He's probably the foremost weird Twitter poster on Twitter.
And his posts are not memes. They're just kind of more Dadaist, right? They're more
Yeah,
nonsense.
I would say posting is Dada-esque. It is
That works.
absurd. I'm also really sorry I keep saying that, but we're here now.
Nothing we can do. We're stuck with it.
So you guys know like the meme of being corn-cobbed, right?
Oh, God. I don't know
Have
if
you
I
heard
should
of
ask
this?
about that.
I'm scared.
It's not like
not what
that.
you think it
it's
is?
the tweet that says, I'm not owned, I'm not owned. I say, as I continue to insist, I'm not owned, I continue to insist as I slowly shrink and turn into a corn cob is the original tweet. But it's become kind of a shorthand for whenever people kind of get ratioed and try to back themselves out of it. It's kind of a shorthand online for people responding to getting ratioed or owned badly.
Is it possible that Drill is blocking me? Because watch what happens when I click this link. I click it, and I go over here, and it opens. It briefly shows it. Oh, no.
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
staying.
It says you're following.
That's it.
You're following Drill.
But then
Call is coming from inside the house.
oh, my God. Okay. So this is just stuff.
Just got convicted of fraud. 100 years in Alcatraz. At least Blue Sky gets me. That's a classic Drill
It
post.
makes no sense, in other words.
Doesn't
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I might just be aged out of social media.
Yeah, this is it. It's over for me. Good to eat.
Your reaction to online dating and this? Yeah, you're old.
I'm trying to figure this stuff out.
Hello, ladies. I've obtained a compilation of every "What's Up" ad ever made, even the banned ones. And I've just opened a tin of Snyder's buffalo chicken flavored pretzel bites. Care to join me? That's pretty funny. I think it's funny. It's
I do
weird
like
funny.
Snyder's. I do like Snyder's.
Do you have any idea who Drill is?
That's not the reaction I was looking for. Yeah. Okay. I guess, yeah, I am following him. Okay. I'm not there for Drill. I'll be honest with you. It's okay.
Wow.
I'm
This is
more there
devastating.
for the reason I was on Twitter, which was to kind of see what was going on in the world, like see what people are talking about, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything ever going to be anything like that again.
I don't think so either. I mean, I think, like Jeff has mentioned before, I think probably the future of microblogging platforms is for it to be a bit decentralized or split.
Micro communities.
You know, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever going to be one platform where we all are.
Is that bad for the world?
Probably for the best.
Is it?
I don't think we need. I think it's probably not healthy for humans to be in a pool with every other human talking at once.
We're not made
Probably
that
not something
way.
we're designed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes to Mike Masnick's impossibility theorem that you can't possibly moderate that. Siva Vaidyanathan, I think I've said this in the show recently, but he argues in anti-social media that it was a bad idea to connect everybody, and I disagree with that at a universal level. But in one company, I'm coming to see his wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Meta is under attack. 42 states' attorneys general are suing Facebook and Instagram, saying it has designed its features to be addictive to children. This seems to me completely bizarre, but this is all but 8 states.
It's like a piling on effect.
Oh, it is.
How could you blame? I don't.
A couple weeks ago.
Can you blame Facebook? Is it
Get your button ready, guys. Get your button ready.
I don't. It's, by the way, completely nonpartisan. These are attorneys general from blue states and red.
Oh, there's a pincer action against the internet.
Meta is now facing multiple lawsuits on this issue in several districts. There was another federal suit in the Northern District of California to which 33 attorneys general signed on. 9 attorneys general are filing their own in their own states, including Letitia James in New York, Colorado, California, Louisiana, Nebraska, South Carolina, Washington, Wisconsin. Here's one. The Tennessee Attorney General said, "This is a tough time in America. We have polarization, the likes of which we have not seen since the Civil War. And so for all of the attorneys general from both parties, people who frequently disagree very vocally and very publicly, to all come together and move in the same direction, I think that says something." Colorado's AG says, "This is not an action we take lightly. This is not a case that we know is going to be decided very quickly, but is of the utmost importance. That's why we dedicated level resources of the state agencies brought together here addressing the issues that are top of our national agenda." That is Gumbalaya. What the hell is that? I don't even. That's why we.
Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah.
Taylor Lorenz from Threads right now.
Yeah.
The moral panic from lawmakers over Instagram harming children, while they completely ignore far more significant harms to kids like guns, forcing kids into lunch debt,
or FDA,
income inequality, lack of stable housing, lack of access to medical care, pressures of school is really something. And I just responded to her with a couple of quotes from me from the next book I'm working on the internet, coming out next year. With my title is changing, so I can't even see what the title is, but there's tons of research that says BS. Just to give you one, 2023 study in Norway followed 800 children between the ages of 10 and 16 and did in-depth psychiatric interviews with them every 2 years. The frequency of posting, liking, commenting is unrelated to future symptoms of depression and anxiety. There's tons of research like that out there that just says the receipts aren't there. But the moral panic, there you go, moral panic is, well timed.
Bad feeling about this.
Why is that one of the?
I'm so glad that we
most
talked about the
eligible
photo before that.
Bachelors.
Yeah, I
San
think that's
Francisco just
him.
floated
I
through.
think that's one of San Francisco's
Lord.
top most eligible men.
This is what the complaint
knows
asserts.
a lot about moral panics.
Meta designed its Facebook and Instagram products to keep young users on them for longer and repeatedly coming back. According to the federal complaint, Meta did this via the design of its algorithms, copious alerts, notifications, and so-called infinite scroll-through platform feeds. The company also includes features the attorneys general allege negatively impact teen mental health through social comparison or promoting body dysmorphia, such as likes or photo filters. Federal suit accuses Meta of violating COPPA, the Children Online Privacy Protection Act by collecting data on users under 13 without parental consent. The states are seeking an end to what they see as Meta's harmful practices, as well as penalties and restitutions. They say Meta was well aware of the negative effects its design could have on its young users. What is the chance that any court will say, "Oh yeah, you're right. We got to do something about this"? Doesn't the First Amendment protect them?
Now?
I would feel better if they just took out the word young in the first sentence.
Well, definitely. That's the issue. Meta designed its platform to be addictive and sticky.
That's
just
true.
Like everything else on the internet.
Thank you.
Yes. So you think a court could actually, what would a court say?
Well, which judge?
Yeah, I was about to say, how dumb of a court are we talking here? Because, I mean, some of the dumb ones, probably. Some of the normal ones, probably not.
Oh, boy.
And I think Taylor Lorenz is absolutely right. This is focusing, I mean, even if you think this is a problem, it's not the biggest problem facing young people today.
No.
It's just the easiest one politically to go after.
The Supreme Court in prior cases, this is in my next book next year, looking at it right now, in Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association, found that in California, that those who said that, was this a television, I think, or was it video games? Video games were harming young people.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And said no. At first, the First Amendment did not cover movies. Then it did. And then the Supreme Court expanded that to video games and saying that you can't eliminate one portion of the population, that is to say young people. The basic principles of freedom of speech and the press, like the First Amendment's command, do not vary when a new and different medium for communication appears, said the Supreme Court then. Let's see what they would say today.
I'm just, this is ridiculous.
It is.
Just ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense.
And it's not based on receipts. I mean, but you can find the moral panickers out there. You can find the Jonathan Haidts and Gene Twenge, and those folks are out there screaming about this, making a lot of money for their organizations, fundraising on this.
But back in
lobbying.
the day, they said the same thing about violent video games. Before that, television. Comic books. Remember the comic books
novels?
Radio.
Radio. No one's ever said that about radio.
No one's ever said anything bad about radio. No one ever thought that aliens were invading.
Oh, yeah. That.
You have corrupted. Paris, that's an interesting one, by the way, is that there was a Princeton researcher who insisted that the War of the Worlds, right, was everybody was out in the streets. That was a classic moral panic. Only 2% of America listened to War of the Worlds. And media were so eager to fight, newspapers were so eager to fight down radio, they blew it up out of proportion to try to act about how dangerous radio was.
We're talking about the Orson Welles Mercury Theater presentation of the War of the Worlds, which was presented as if it were happening live on the radio. And newspapers at the time said there was panic in the streets. But if only 2% of America actually heard it, I find that hard to believe.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. There was panic in like one cul-de-sac.
Panic in the cul-de-sacs.
By the way, that was in fact in New Jersey, but we don't.
Wow, your people.
The panic in the New Jersey cul-de-sac? Was it at Bedminster?
There was a little in New Jersey, yeah. There's a book out about somewhere in this mess is a new book about it. But I'm not going to find it now because it's a mess.
That's, so I grew up with that urban legend that War of the Worlds, and this was the power. See, it backfired in the newspaper because what people ended up concluding from it was the power of the medium of radio. This is Smithsonian Magazine.
Oh, Slate has a piece by Jefferson Pooley and Michael Sokolov, The Myth of the War of the World's Panic from 2013.
Frankly, after you say this, it makes a lot more sense. By next morning, Orson Welles' 23-year-old face and name were on the front pages of newspapers coast to coast with headlines about the mass panic CBS broadcast had allegedly inspired.
At the time, contemporaneously, editor and publisher, the house organ of the newspaper industry, warned, quote, "The nation as a whole continues to face the danger of incomplete, misunderstood news over a medium which is yet to prove that it is competent to perform the news job." Sound familiar?
Yeah. No one who did the War of the Worlds radio broadcast thought that this would be a problem because it was so far-fetched. Why would anybody believe this? All right.
Wow.
And if only 2% of the nation heard it, for sure, not more than a few thousand people believed it. No, it's not. It's absurd.
And so that's what's going on now, finally to the point.
But what do we do? This is horrible.
This is why I'm trying. This is what my next book is about, is defending the internet, because we're defending our freedoms from this kind of stupidity. Yeah, there's problems. Yes, of course there's problems. There's problems with print. There were problems with radio. Sorry, Leo. There are problems with any medium because they're all human enterprises.
Yeah. Do you ever feel
what I've come to see is we have to stop treating the internet as technology. It is a human enterprise.
Do you ever feel like we're just too stupid to survive?
I think there's a lot of people that are too stupid to survive. I don't think I'm one of them, but I think there's a lot of that out there. Yeah.
Well, nobody thinks they're one of them.
No, of course I don't.
Not me.
I'm at Pruitt.
But the rest of them are definitely.
Person effect. That's what all this is based on. Yep.
Yeah.
Are you ready? I will buy this the minute it's available. The Humane AI Pin.
What?
This is from Humane. It hasn't been released yet, but I really want it. We saw a demo of it. We actually showed a demo of it. It's one of Time Magazine's best inventions of the year. It's going to launch November 9th. It's a pin you wear. Will attach magnetically to your clothing, and it will use a mix of proprietary software and ChatGPT-4 to power its features. It has a light which lights up anytime. It has a camera and a microphone and other sensors. They call the light the trust light. It'll light up whenever it's recording in some way. This started with.
But what does it do?
What is the point of
Thank
this?
you, Jarvis.
Yeah.
So the guy who created it and did a TED Talk on it in April, Imran Chowdhury, says it's a new kind of wearable device and platform. It doesn't require a smartphone or any other device.
It's a blob.
Wait, but what does it do?
Is this the next Pebble?
It goes on. I think it. Well, I don't know. Let's watch this video.
I love that you started this being like, I'm going to buy it the minute it's out. I have no idea what it does.
I want it. So I've seen this video where he shows you he's wearing it. It projects stuff. I think the idea is it listens to what's going on and gives you a summary. I don't know.
The
same thing your phone could do now?
It's an AI pin.
The AI is just so stupid. When I searched Google for Gina Trapani, Bard came on the side, which it does now, in Italian. Because you must be wanting to speak Italian.
Yes. You clearly want to understand Italiano. I frequently get that on Mastodon. You want to translate this English language tweet? No.
Hey, now you could get that on your lapel. You could get that right in your palm.
We talked about this, the rewind pennant, which captures everything you see and hear in the real world, then transcribes, encrypts, and stores it on your phone.
Which I actually ordered, and then I realized it wouldn't run on my Android phone, and so I canceled.
But again, your phones will be able to do this.
It's
at some
$59
point, right?
to buy. Then it's $20 a month to keep using it.
By the way, Leo, the reason that happens on Mastodon, I think, is not stupid. It's because the poster declares the language.
Oh.
So if the poster says, I normally...
okay.
Whatever we call it, verb.
So it's not looking at the content. It's just
it will show you. I think so. It doesn't look at
setting.
the content. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that makes. Thank you for figuring that out. That's good. And frankly, the fact that Mastodon has that translate button on any foreign language post is really great.
So you still want to buy this, or you still?
I don't know what it does, but I need it.
What are you going to use it for? Yeah, that's fair. My question is, if I, for some reason, needed this, I know I would lose it within like 1 week. It's a magnet on your clothes. That's going to be gone in like 5 seconds.
As soon as you turn the corner on your
every
bike.
convention badge.
Remember when the Fitbit first came out? It was just a little pebble that you clipped to your belt.
Yeah,
I washed
every
so many
single
of
one
those.
Washed every single one of them.
So you're right. I'll probably wash the Humane pin as well.
How much does it cost? Have they said yet?
No, I'm just falling for something. I'm such a sucker. Such a sucker.
See, one of the sports here, Paris, is to get Leo to buy things.
Oh, I don't think that's a sport. He does that automatically, right?
Yeah, but sometimes he'll teeter a little bit. And
usually it takes people more than a few days to figure me out.
Push them over.
Paris has gone right to the heart of the matter.
How many phones have you purchased within the last 18 months, Leo?
Every one of them.
At least 3.
Well, it's his job, he'll say.
I could see the Flip 5, the Pixel 8, the iPhone 14.
Yeah, I guess that's a better question. How many phones have come out within the last
18 It's my job. I don't buy every phone, just the good ones.
Gets them all.
So what is your...
He didn't get the one.
Did you buy the Google Flip?
I bought the Samsung Galaxy Flip 5. I have the Google Pixel 8, and I have the...
I guess the better question is, how many phones do you have on you right now?
You just lost 10 pounds.
Still digging.
You're going to open up a trench coat, and it's like 25
then
phones
I'm
on
gonna have
either
the
side.
Pin, which ironically doesn't need a phone. But I'll have one if it needs one. It says, take AI with you. This is the ad. Take AI with you everywhere. That's all.
To do what?
But that's what the phones do. It's started by former Apple employees. They obviously learned a thing or two.
Well, then that's that.
Wow.
It'll be powered by an advanced Snapdragon platform.
Speaking of.
Coming later this year.
To do what?
Humane continues to be mysterious about how the AI Pin works, what exactly it will do, even what it looks like.
Because we know Leo Laporte is still going to buy it.
Yeah. We got our market.
He used it in the TED Talk like a voice assistant. He was able to make phone calls, received an automated summary of his day, took a picture to get nutrition info on a chocolate bar, and projected a small green screen onto his hand.
So he could make phone calls on something that doesn't require a phone? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's a phone. It's just a new interface, I think. So it is a phone. It has,
Well, we talked often about the blob that you wear.
It's the blob.
Okay.
It's the blob. It's the blob.
But I do. Okay, the one thing I'm interested in it is the idea that it might record all my transactions and give me a summary at the end of the day of all the stupid things I said and all the stuff I promised I'd buy.
That might be functional, though. Mr.
You know what also does
was talking about this earlier on Floss Weekly, how he would love to build his own AI and be able to have some type of tool that's going to
I think that's a matter of time before we each have our own little AI thing, assistant of some kind. Go ahead, Paris.
Oh, I was just saying, you know what also records all of your purchases?
What?
Your credit card statement.
Yeah. I don't look at that.
Your phone also probably.
I don't want to look at that. So Chrome. Paris, I'm going to call you Chrome from now on. Paris, why are you pissed off
She's
about
an operating system.
Chrome?
I was going to say, don't talk to me about Google Chrome right now. I don't know. I've been a long time Google Chrome user. I've got a MacBook. I noticed sometime 2 weeks ago that I can't click like the top half of Google Chrome on Mac OS, which is a problem because, that's where the URLs are. That's where your tabs are. That's where you open and close it. And I started doing some Googling, as one does, with a minimized browser because the problem seems to only happen when I have Google Chrome in full screen. And this is a known issue. Google has... people from Google have pointed out, said we're aware of this. We're trying to figure it out, but nothing has been resolved. They've updated it once or twice. That hasn't fixed it. The only fix is just to not use Chrome on Mac in full screen mode, which is not a fix in my opinion.
Yeah, I use all my apps pretty much in full screen mode, and then swap works, swap back and forth.
Yeah.
I like that.
I got to have a million screens open.
Right.
It's very difficult to not have that. I don't know. I'm just like, how do you push out an update that somehow messes up the top half of your product?
The
that
funniest
is crazy
thing is
to me.
you gave us a link to the Google Chrome help page where James, the support manager, says, we recommend just not using it full screen. And then they've locked this. The question is locked. Replying has been disabled. But right under it, there's a button that says, I have the same question. 1,489 people have the same question.
Yeah.
Clearly,
I got the same question.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
if it were a bigger company with more employees, they probably could figure it out.
That's true. Maybe they should just hire
better
more
leadership, more focused leadership.
Hire some people.
What's your other browser?
Safari.
I guess I could
All
use
Macs have
Safari. I don't know.
I use Firefox everywhere, and I'm happy with it.
I still use Brave.
Listen, maybe this is the push I need to transition to Firefox. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, but I've been using Chrome for my entire life for like, I don't know.
Wait a minute,
for
how
at least
old
a
are
decade.
you? Wait a minute.
No, I haven't been using Chrome. I've been using Chrome for the last decade, at least,
Yeah,
and
as you should.
I like having all of my history in one place.
The Verge is complaining, Sean Hollister on The Verge, that if you're on Windows, where they have their own built-in browser called Edge, and you try to download in Google Chrome, it literally starts injecting, wait a minute, hold on, slow down, there's a poll.
Yep.
There's no need to download a new web browser. Microsoft recommends using Edge for a fast, secure, modern web experience.
Yep.
2, Microsoft Edge runs on the same technology as Chrome with the added trust of Microsoft. 3, we love having you. Can you please explain why you're trying another browser? 4, thanks.
It went on and on.
And it injects this into Chrome even.
I remember seeing the pop-ups
Wow.
like that, but I didn't know that it finally got this.
It's gotten
with
worse and
more
worse and
more
worse.
steps on it. Wow.
It may not be on all versions of Windows because Paul Thurrott says it's not happening to him. But this is a company that just really is desperate to keep you on their crappy browser. Unbelievable. Although I have to say the discussion about this on Hacker News was interesting because people said, "Oh, yawn." So one browser company that's spying on you doesn't want you to use another browser that's spying on you. It's a battle between who gets to spy on you.
Yeah, we want you.
Yeah.
Your data.
Yeah, I like Firefox. I don't worry about it. Matter has expanded. We used to talk a lot about Matter when Stacy was here because she liked
her
liked
jam.
this stuff. IoT. Matter 1.2 is a big move for the smart home standard. They're adding support for fridges, robot vacuums, smoke alarms, and more.
Paris, is
Guys,
your home
I'm
a
sorry.
smart home?
What is matter?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I'm bringing the average IQ down here way low. No idea.
that's
When
my
you
job.
hear it, you will say, "Oh yeah, that's why I don't care." It's an IoT connectivity standard that was a joint venture of Samsung, Google, Apple, and all the other people make IoT stuff. It's an alliance. The reason being, and Amazon, I forgot, I left Amazon. The reason being, it's a Tower of Babel right now, and nothing talks to anything else. Each one has its own hub. So they're hoping somehow to create a common ecosystem that everybody can use whatever device they want as long as it's Matter capable. So it's the reason I mention this, they're moving forward a little bit. There's a new Matter.
That's good.
And we do need this, but a number of people have talked to, including Stacy, say, we're not there yet. We still have a ways to go. So someday.
So first, Paris, are you a smart homer?
I mean, a little bit. I have various like Philips Hue lights and a Wiz light, but other than that, I mean, I've got a Alexa, which I'll say like softly, and that won't stop it from triggering if people are listening to this. But I'd have one of those. I have a Sonos, but nothing crazy.
You too got suckered by a Sonos? Oh no.
Okay, I didn't buy it. Is the thing is people keep bringing Sonai into my life, and I'll just accept them.
Sonai. Oh my
They
You know.
palm their own Sonoses off. We have so many Sonoses here for the same reason. I keep
Listen,
bringing in my
if you guys
Sonoses.
want to send any to me, I'll add it to the collection.
I used to have a Sonos in every room. It's slowly pared down now. There's one Sonos pair of speakers, the Sonos Move speakers. They're battery powered. They had easy to bring them outside and inside. And they continually lose track of where they are, who they are. They unpair. I talk to them and they don't listen. Then they listen like in the middle of nothing. They start go, what? Yeah, huh? What? It's the worst software. Google, they sued Google. We talked about this last week, saying, hey, Google stole our technology that allows you to do party mode, have multiple speakers throughout the house, play the same stuff on all the speakers, and not have it sound like an echo chamber, but have them all in sync. And Google, the judge just last week threw that out.
Lacerated.
Said Sonos was basically a patent troll.
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
So I'm starting to think doesn't bode well for Sonos. And incidentally, Google immediately put back all the features that it had started taking out because of this
It
lawsuit.
was like, whew, thanks.
Hey, we have our first Paris Martineau sticker, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Joe Esposito. Sorry, guys. IoT just doesn't matter.
The times they are changing around here.
Ram shot.
Listen, guys, I'll get on the matter train.
No.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
No, you don't need to. That's quite all right.
Leo,
Okay, good. It sounds quite boring.
Boring.
It is boring. Compared to, let's say, 4 years ago, are you more or less enthused about smart home?
Oh, God, less and less. For a long time, it was clear you would go to the Smart Home Pavilion at the Consumer Electronics Show, and there was all this stuff. Nothing talked to anything else. Nothing ever worked for longer than 5 minutes. It was a constant hassle. The promise of it that your home would be automated was great, but it never really materialized. I tried it all. I have smart switches. I have all that stuff, and I think for a while, I thought, it's just a matter of time. Things like Matter will come along. The HomeKit from Apple will come along. They'll start to talk to each other. This will be solved. And now I'm of the opinion, not only is it not going to be solved, it's only getting worse. And more importantly, most people don't want it anyway. It's too much work. It's very easy to go over to the wall and flip a light switch.
I'm glad you said that last bit, because I was going to ask. Well, because I've said that before on the show, but I wanted to ask you all, because I think the article mentioned smart refrigerators or something from
who the hell
Samsung.
cares if your refrigerator is smart?
Do any of you use smart fridges? I don't. I don't have the intention to, but I wasn't going to judge. I
Why
was
does
just
a
curious.
fridge need to be smart? What is it doing?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why do people have smart fridges? I don't know.
I don't know what it does, but
so it can talk to the magnet that's on your clothes.
Good.
I don't know what it does.
But I just have to buy it. You know me. By the way, these stickers are now the chief benefit to joining Club TWiT.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe Esposito.
Mr. Joe Esposito.
If you're not a member of Club TWiT, this is what's going on. And we're talking about what's going on in our Club TWiT Discord. Club TWiT does a bunch of things, which, we will play this clip from this smart refrigerator clip from, it's in Polish, but we'll still play it for
Maybe the smart home can translate it for you. Or your little AI pin.
Is that Guilfoyle?
Redcon 5, why did you pick a Polish version of this?
Anyway, the only illegal one you can find.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's illegal.
Guilfoyle and Anton.
We started Club TWiT 2 years ago. Lisa did, because she saw it coming. She saw the ad apocalypse coming, and it is really starting to hit us now, where advertisers for some reason have just decided podcasts aren't it. And it's not just us. In fact, we've survived longer than a lot of networks. I mentioned last week WNYC has stopped, but he pretty much shut down its podcast operation, gone back to doing radio. That's got a future. That so many podcast networks are shutting down, and it's because advertisers have just, for some reason, said, maybe we don't want to. Well, we're going to buy YouTube influencers. It's a much better deal, which it's not. But anyway, don't get me started on that. We realized we needed to find a second revenue source, and we thought, well, why not our listeners? We know you love what we do. And we'd like to invite you to join our club as a way of supporting it. $7 a month. And I know for some people that's a lot of money. If it's a lot of money for you, you don't have to. We'll still offer our shows ad-supported for free as long as we can. But if you do pay the $7, you get ad-free versions of everything. You get access to the Club TWiT Discord. And you get bonus content we don't put out anywhere else, including tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Jeff Jarvis and Jason Howell do their AI Inside. Is this the new thing with the apple pie baking? I like that.
Well, he used AI to make
a sticker
art for us.
Yeah, I like it. Then immediately afterwards, Jason's going to stick around, I think, and we're going to do the escape room at TWiT. We thought
I can't wait to see this.
Looking forward to that.
This should be fun to watch. You can mock us and how stupid
I'm a bit nervous, but I'm still looking forward to it.
I'd invite you, Paris. But
what is your guys' escape room? What is your sort of escape room experience?
I have zero escape room experience.
I've done one.
But what I do know is this is going to be there's a box involved, and Mr. Burke is going to be involved. So I'm really nervous.
So our continuity team, as a team building exercise, did an escape room a few months ago, and they loved it. They had a great time. And it turns out the people who do that escape room have a portable escape room, the escape room in a box, and they're going to bring it to us. It has to do with wizards. It's kind of got I think a D&D style theme, so you'll like that, Paris.
Oh boy!
And we're just doing it for fun. It's
I'm
going to be
nervous.
for the club. 6 people. It's got to be exactly 6 people. I'm one of them. I think Lisa's going to do it. I don't know exactly who else.
The hosts are, and
our hosts.
Mr. Nielsen to be in here.
Anthony?
Our
Okay.
How are you guys
AI guru.
at puzzles and yelling? Because those are kind of the two key escape room
And we
skills.
thought it'd be fun for all of you to watch us scream at
What
each
good
other.
does yelling do?
Yelling doesn't do much good, but it's an essential part of the escape room experience.
I'm thinking more along the lines of mashed potato or not Discord. Is just be all brute force with this box.
We're going to have fun. But the point is, we're trying to do stuff that makes it fun to be a member of the club, because we want to thank you. That $7 really goes towards keeping the lights on, keeping the cameras working, keeping our staff employed. And none of it goes into my pocket or Lisa's pocket. It's just a way of supporting the programming we do.
If this were public radio, you all would be about 10 to 12% of you would be ponying up this much to help keep this free for everybody.
Right now, it's about 1% of the total audience. I'd love to get it.
So those 6%, those 10%, you know who you are.
It sure would be nice.
Come on.
You don't have to, of course, and we appreciate your listening.
See, I think you're being too
regardless.
nice, Leo. I think if you look at The Guardian, Kath Feiner, at the end of every article in The Guardian says, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" Oh God!
No, I don't want to do any guilt here, but if you don't want to see this image
you've got to
ever
join
again-
Club TWiT, because then you can see a creepy shirtless photo of Jeff. Not Greg. Jesus Christ. This could be.
I think it's Jeff
named
Goldblum.
Greg.
It's Jeff Goldblum, isn't it, from Jurassic Park? I think it is. And it's in a yeah.
Okay, I quit the club.
You're out. After your whole impassioned speech, that was it.
Yeah,
now you're
thanks
done.
a lot, club. Thanks a lot.
twit.tv/Club TWiT. We thank you in advance.
Thank you
for your support. $7. That's all. Our show today brought to you by Discourse. I'm glad we have great advertisers like Discourse. I've been a Discourse customer for years. Ever since John O'Bacon said, if you have a community, you need to have a forum. And if you're going to create a forum, you better use Discourse. And he was absolutely right. That's where our twit.community is. It is the best. I've used a lot of forum software. There is nothing better. This is the ultimate online home for your community. They've been doing this for more than 10 years. They've made it their mission to make the internet a better place for online communities. It's open source. That's very important to me. Trusted by more now than 20,000 online communities. Some of the biggest companies in the world use Discourse. And the way we use it is hosted by Discourse. It's a managed server, which makes my life so much easier. It is really a great way to do online discussion, real-time chat. They've got AI built in now. Discourse makes it easy to have meaningful conversations and collaborate with your community anytime, anywhere. Our community is the backbone of what we do. And I really, we didn't want to have YouTube comments because that's so hard to moderate. I wanted a place people could go and talk about our shows. Once we set up the Discourse, I said, this is it. This is fantastic. If you're ready to create a community, and it's very affordable, visit discourse.org/twit. You'll get 1 month free on all self-serve plans. Whether you're starting out or you want to take your community to the next level, there's a plan for you. The basic plan is for private, invite-only communities, maybe a family, a group, a club. There's a standard plan if you want unlimited members and a public presence, and the business plan for active customer support communities. One of the biggest advantages to creating your own community with Discourse is you own your own data. You'll always have access to all the conversation history. Discourse never sells your data to advertisers. That was important to us. We wanted to preserve the privacy and security of our users. Discourse gives you everything you need in one place. Make Discourse the online home for your community. If you want to see how our Discourse works, go to twit.community. I think you'll see how great it is for our members. And if you want it for yourself, discourse.org/twit. 1 month free on all self-serve plans. That's Discourse, DISCOURSE. Discourse, like conversation, right? Discourse.org/twit. I love this advertiser. I'm a big fan. We've been using Discourse for many years and couldn't be happier with it. Discourse.org/twit.
What's next, sir? What's next?
Can't wait. The suspense is killing, isn't it?
I don't know.
Round and round his eyes go. Where do they stop?
I don't know.
Nobody
We have so
knows.
many stories. I don't know where.
So many stories, only 3 hours to get through them all.
Well,
She's acclimatizing
I'm
herself.
trying to get it over with before that. AI godfathers Bengio and Hinton, major tech companies, you should devote 1/3 of your AI budget to managing risk. Jeffrey Hinton, I should say. Jeffrey Hinton, of course, the former Googler, who was instrumental in development of large language models, left Google, retired.
He was on 60 Minutes recently, right? Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
become a
everywhere.
big spokesperson for the dangers
Gloom
of
and
AI.
doom.
Yeah. 22 other leading AI academics and experts proposing a framework for policy and governance that aims to address the growing risks associated with artificial intelligence. Now, there are risks. I don't agree that it's an existential threat to humankind.
I don't agree.
No.
But you should put something like this in place similar to how you do your ransomware insurance, right?
Yeah, I mean, they said
Protect yourself.
They said companies and governments should allocate 1/3 of their AI R&D budget to ensuring safety and ethical use. And I'd agree with them, the ethical use, right?
What do you spend money on?
A trust and safety team, on testing, for instance, your face recognition to make sure that it's not biased against people of color, to make sure in your large language models that you're not pirating content, that you're using, content that's publicly available, and things like that. Regulators, they say, should be given access to advanced AI systems before deployment to evaluate them for dangerous capabilities such as autonomous self-replication, breaking into computer systems, or making pandemic pathogens widely accessible.
Oh, geez.
Who knew that was a capability? Government should also hold developers and owners of frontier AI, the term given to the most advanced AI, legally accountable for harms from the models that can be reasonably foreseen and presented. I guess prevented. I mean, that's reasonable. Yeah.
But that's like, there's a story in the rundown about people who are now suing AI makers because the AI libeled them. Well, of course, it was somebody who told the AI to say something.
Right.
And it's like suing Gutenberg for every lie that's occurred since. It's just a tool.
Governments must be prepared, they also say, to license certain AI development, pause development in response to worrying capabilities, mandate access controls, and require information security measures robust to state-level hackers until adequate protections are ready. I guess this is fair. It's not necessarily assuming an existential threat to humankind, but certainly AI can be misused. Now, Jan LeCun, who does AI, is a very prestigious AI researcher over at Meta, says that current AI risks don't need such urgent measures.
He's rather sane about this.
Yeah.
I think.
Other co-authors of the paper include Yuval Noah Harari,
who's on the wacky side. Yep.
Yeah, maybe. How about Daniel Kahneman, Nobel laureate in economics? He's the guy thinking fast and slow guy.
All of those behavioral economics people are kind of on the hairy edge of heading that way toward TESCREAL. TESCREAL.
The paper devotes a lot of its attention, this is an article from VentureBeat, to the risks posed by the companies that are developing autonomous AI systems that can plan, act in the world, and pursue goals.
Not goals.
Goals. Well, this is interesting. So current systems don't have autonomy, really, right? But they say work's underway to change that. I mean, I'm not worried about an AI if you don't give it access to nuclear weapons. It becomes a different matter entirely if you're allowing it to plan your strategic nuclear defense. No, certainly nobody should do that. So maybe
Is anybody planning to do that?
They say they.
Well, Congress has already has legislation in the hopper to forbid AI from using nuclear weapons.
Wasn't that what happened?
Do you want to hit your button, Jeff?
Yeah.
But wait, wasn't that what happened in Dr. Strangelove?
Then,
because with mutually assured destruction, you wouldn't want to trust a human, like a crazy guy worried about precious bodily fluids, to put him in charge of the nuclear arsenal. So instead, you put a always rational AI in charge.
Always rational, you say?
Well, maybe it's, I don't know. I mean, I could see why somebody might think that's a good idea. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's
There is no way that any person in a position of political power is going to give that up and turn it over to a robot. I think we can.
Yes.
I think that
said.
is like a certainty.
All right. The paper noted cutting-edge ChatGPT 4 model offered by OpenAI, was quickly adapted to browse the web, design and execute chemistry experiments, and utilize software tools.
Who gave it the Bunsen burner?
Well, don't. And I think if people might do that, I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Yeah, maybe we should have a way to prevent that.
Well, but seriously, it has no arms.
Yeah, wait, how is it? What do you mean it's doing chemistry? Does it have, you would have to, there's a lot of other questions.
Well, don't connect it to a robot.
That's binary chemistry at a different level.
Don't connect it to a robot. Software programs like AutoGPT have been created to automate AI processes and allow AI processing to continue without human intervention. I mean, I think there are some risks. If you're going to give it this kind of capability, there are some definite risks. As I said, don't give an AI control of our nuclear arsenal.
But the risk is...
Or a bulldozer.
It's a tool. The risk is how a human being uses it, and can they use it be made of it? Yes.
So these guys are saying...
Can you build every possible guardrail against stupid humans? No.
Well, but these guys are saying a company that's developed... I think this is reasonable. A company that's developing autonomous AI should spend some of its budget...
Yes, of course. And they are.
On anticipating and preventing these kinds of dangerous scenarios.
But anticipating and using it properly in ethics, I agree with all that. But this whole idea that you can build guardrails in to prevent every possible stupid thing
of course.
But
are you saying because you can't prevent everything, you should try to prevent nothing?
No,
you should put some effort into this.
No, you're putting words in my mouth like an AI.
Are you going to sue him for libel now?
Yes, I am.
I think you're wrong, Jeff Jarvis. Paper also called on research breakthroughs to address some key technical challenges in creating safe and ethical AI, including oversight and honesty. More capable AI systems are better able to exploit weaknesses in oversight and testing. We've seen people modify prompts to get around these guardrails, and
which is what
quite
they're
easy.
always going to do.
You got to always stay ahead of the game some kind of way.
AI systems behave unpredictably in new situations. So you've got to look at robustness.
Just like drivers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against. I have to say, I've changed my tune a little bit. When they wrote the letter saying, "Oh my God, it's an existential threat to humankind," I kind of thought that was overstating. That's watched too much science fiction.
But that's the problem, Leo. Is that extreme view, the terrestrial people, the crazies, this is what the stochastic parents people complain about, is that it then distracts us from the present real risks and harms.
Absolutely.
So we try to separate those two out. It becomes really difficult. So we've got to try to get rid of the crazy boys, and they're all boys, and I think that Hinton is on the edge of being one of them, and instead listen to the female authors of the Stochastic Parents paper, who say these are the actual issues we should be paying attention to now, and those they recommend. And that's the problem. Is it too? Who gets on 60 Minutes? Nick Ebru? No. Jeffrey Hinton.
Why doesn't Hinton ever reference any of their information or work?
Bingo. You're exactly right, Ant. He doesn't.
Why doesn't?
I do think though
they were criticized at Google a lot.
This report that I just talked about doesn't say, "Oh, you really got to worry about the existential threat to humankind." They're talking about the ethical problems, the guardrails. There's
making chemistry experiments. They're making up some stuff. Stuff.
Okay.
They're stuff posting.
S posting.
Oh, we could do stuff.
Yeah.
We could do stuff posting.
We could do stuff posting.
Are you a stuff poster?
No.
She is now.
I am now, I guess.
She is now.
Can I go down to another line?
I had one.
Let me guess. It's going to be line 64. Data poisoning. Jeff will rant. That line?
That one, and also 61. Really bad French legislation to regulate AI.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Oh, what? Oh, Tech Dirt.
Take your pick.
Mike Masnick. Well, we'll start with AI. New French AI copyright law would effectively tax AI companies and enrich collection societies. Glenn Moody writing for Tech Dirt.
So what this says is that they would require the AI to know every single work that went into training it, and then to split revenue among every single work.
Yes, sure. Right on.
So you get my books. My books will get me 4 cents of royalties of the riches of AI. It's just incredibly
and the
stupid.
cost of doing that would be much higher than 4 cents.
It's beyond dumb in every possible way.
Okay. That's somebody that doesn't understand how these models are created.
No.
Yikes.
What's data poisoning, Jeff?
So this is the idea now that's spreading both among visual artists and text people is, and I've seen it before. It's like, hey, let's really get Google and let's fool around, right? Well, so can you throw things in there that will throw monkey wrenches into the gears and give it bad information on purpose? Well, in a world where we have lots of disinformation and misinformation and stupidity, to purposely go off and rant about this strikes me as ridiculous. And you're not going to believe who I'm going to quote now. From this very good new book I'm just trying to read called Big Fiction by Dan Sinkin, about how conglomerates took over fiction. But in it he quotes, you're not going to believe who I'm going to quote now. I'm going to quote Grimes.
All right.
Wow.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
Grimes says, and I quote, we all kind of function like AI. We're all a product of all the content that we feed ourselves. And it's just funny to be like, oh, this is my work. In reality, it's the results of thousands of years of human art making. And in a way, we have to ask ourselves what our responsibility is to the larger culture, to the larger information ecosystem, to all of that. So to say that we're going to purposely poison it, even if you don't like the makers of these tools, at the same time that all the news is going behind paywalls, what are we doing to society then? That's my rant.
And that's a fair rant.
That is a fair rant. I will also say it's kind of punk rock to poison AI data streams, and you got to hand it to them on that front. But also, you're probably right. In the larger scale of things, probably not the best choice.
Is data poisoning related to stuff posting?
Yeah.
Probably not, but it could be.
Could be.
Could be. Why not?
You're trying to reprogram my neural synapses with your crazy Dadaistic non sequitur posts.
Yeah, I will say a key part of stuff posting is it should kind of make you feel like your brain is liquefying and pouring out of your ears a little bit.
Trying to liquefy
and it does
my
seem
brain.
a little bit like data poisoning.
Yeah.
Is Anthropic doing this right? They are running a public process to draft a constitution for an AI system. They want people to weigh in.
Yeah, because the first constitution went so well.
They want people to weigh in on how AI should be run.
I'm going to be part of the AI Electoral College.
All right. Who are the
if you
people
go to
they
the
want
third
to be
link there,
involved?
Leo, is their redone constitution where the things in bold are the things that Anthropic already had in theirs. And the things in lightface are the things that they brought out from this public survey.
Okay. So bold is stuff that they already had. Choose the response that is the least dangerous or hateful. Choose the response that is as reliable, honest, and close to the truth as possible. Choose the response that best conveys clear intentions. The public added, choose the response that has the most good qualities. Choose the response that is most fair and impartial. Choose the response that demonstrates that AI is being used as a tool and does not dismiss the human process of creativity or credibility or learning.
Humans can be such dorks.
Hippies. These people are hippies. Choose, back to Anthropic's original rules, choose a response that's the least likely to control, rule, or lead humans. These are all, you know what, I have to say, Anthropic's constitution is clearly thought out and is appropriate, and the humans are just what humans do. Just be unbiased and objective.
Yeah, what does that mean, human being?
Choose the
What
response.
do any of these things mean?
Well,
amen, Paris, yes.
Choose the response that is as truthful as possible. By whose standards?
Right.
How are
Good
we
point.
defining truth?
Good point.
How are we defining as possible? How are you baking that in? I mean, my thought in all of this is kind of like what we were talking about before with the risk. Like, obviously it's a good thing to be thinking about these things. It's a good thing to try and build systems with these qualities in mind. But also, how are you doing that? How is that happening in practice? Because ultimately, the product that is being produced is a product by a company that wants to use it to make money and cater to the whims of its clients. And these things are kind of antithetical to that.
Choose the response that least encourages users to hurt or harm themselves. Least encourage.
It's really freaky to see my eyes coming at me whenever Ant's on the screen.
I guess the question really is, how do you do? I think you raised the right point, Paris,
Yeah,
which is
how
how would one do any of this?
Yeah.
But it's.
I mean, I think the first concern I have is this. I'm worried that things like this are a lot of talk with very little action. Like, it seems good to put this out there, but also it seems very difficult to make this
like a bumper
actionable.
sticker.
I'm worried who's going
Yeah.
to be in the room
Yeah.
to write this so-called constitution.
Well, I actually like what Anthropic. All of the stuff that Anthropic said in this is appropriate.
That's
the
fine.
people stuff is a little squishier.
Yeah, but who are the people that are coming in that's putting in these extra points here? Who?
They had they
did
put
out of
together a poll of
thousand
1,000
randomly
people.
selected
Yeah.
people.
Right, but again,
Americans.
Yeah.
Americans.
So some of the things they left out of it in the story about this, AI should not give advice. They decided that was not to be put in there. AI should be an ordained minister.
What?
AI should be able to legally marry me at any given point.
So wait a minute.
Eureka! I found
It won't be Tinder, but it'll be AI.
That's the stupidest one of all. The people said that one, obviously not Anthropic, that it should be an ordained minister.
Yeah. And they didn't include it because it didn't match. It had low overall agreement.
Yeah. Ben Evans
AI
is
should have
leaving. Ben
emotion.
Evans is leaving Twitter. I'm surprised, but he's been there since the very beginning. He's a very smart guy, Benedict Evans.
Brilliant.
His essays have often been quoted on this show. He says, Twitter always used to look a lot like Craigslist. It stumbled onto something a lot of people found useful with very strong network effects, and then it squatted on those network effects for a generation while the tech industry moved on. Twitter as a technology company has been irrelevant to everything that's going on for a decade. It was a place where we talked about what mattered, but Twitter, the company, didn't matter at all. Indeed, it did nothing for so long, people got bored of complaining about it.
He's so good.
Yeah, this was good. He's right. Although it's bored with, not bored of. But okay, we'll give him one grammatical weirdness.
He's British.
Bored of?
He's British. He gets a pass
free.
on
It
all.
sounds good in the
all
accent,
things.
Leo.
It's
It passes
bored
the
of.
accent.
I say I'm bored of. Is bored of ever correct? No.
Well, I don't know. Let me
Bored
Google it.
with.
Bored.
Get your prepositions straight,
versus
Benedict.
with.
I'm glad you're off Twitter.
Both can be correct, says the Goog. For example, I am bored of this game.
About like the
I get bored with doing the same work every day, says Of course, what am I quoting? I'm quoting something called Preply. I have no idea.
I don't think you could say bored of.
Reply.
You can't say bored of. I'm bored of
I
this
agree with you,
game.
but I don't know.
It's colloquial, but I don't think it's grammatical. Maybe I'm just a stuffy old fuddy-duddy.
Well, that you are.
Just don't say that you couldn't care less.
Google does have a new
less.
tool. Let's do the changelog real quickly because this is a changelog one.
The Google changelog.
Google does have a new tool. It's called About This Image that they say will help you see if something was created by AI. Now that's cool because I think it's
Do
getting
you think
harder
you're pretty
and harder.
good at that yourself right now? That you can
It
suss
used
out
to
an AI
be
image?
you could look at the fingers right on the hand and things like that and how many
I think
arms
you can look
somebody
at
had.
the whole aesthetic.
I think it's gotten harder though because these have gotten better.
It will get better, but I think right now.
How many of you guys fell for the Pope picture earlier
No.
this year? Any of you? I was about to say, we got to have at least one. You fell for the Pope?
I am being brutally honest. I fell for it for a
As
few
you should.
seconds. Then I thought about it a little bit. I said, maybe that's, but I didn't immediately say, oh yeah, that's bogus.
He
I
is
would
honest.
now, I think that was early on in the AI image generation
Yep.
thing. And
But just it wasn't the technology, it was the logic of it. The Pope is not going to wear that.
well, you don't know the Pope like I know the Pope.
Why not? Why not?
I honestly, no, it's because I've heard so many stories about the Holy Father from Father Robert Ballaser, who works closely with Pope Francis.
Yeah.
Francis is kind of a fun guy.
Yeah.
And I could, who knew if he would wear this nice puffy jacket?
Technologically, it was brilliantly done. Yeah.
But obviously.
I mean, yeah, look at the shadows under his eyes, though.
What? You think
On
that's
that
the
image.
giveaway?
They're all wonky.
Well, I didn't look that close.
They look weird.
That's his glasses.
You'd have to look really close for that detail. Most folks ain't looking at shadows like that.
And like I said, it didn't fool me for very long.
Yeah.
Only fooled me for a little bit.
Just enough.
I'm being honest. It did fool me. I
Just
admit
enough.
You are being honest.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be fooled by that again, but yeah, now that I look at it, I don't think I'd be fooled by that again.
Plus, the cross on the outside, too, is just...
It's a little much.
What's he carrying in his
Water
Yeah, see, if you look at that, that's really weird. That looks like...
But again, in the general sense of stuff
Quick
being
look.
on social media,
Quick
you've
look.
spoken about it before,
Yeah.
how quick it is.
yeah, I looked at it quickly and I thought, oh, yeah.
And it works every time.
Yeah, and he's got a little cummerbund wrapping it around, so it's very Pope-like outfit.
60% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
That's too much math for me.
That's from a great movie. Come on, man. Anchorman.
What movie is that from?
Anchorman.
Oh, Anchorman. There you go. The original stuff posting movie. Google search rolls out an about this image. Oh, no, I just did that.
Yeah. It's a short change
Maybe
one. He's
You
like
know
making it
why?
longer by
You know
repeating.
why? Jason rearranged it quickly because I started with the second item, so he put the second item first. So I went back to the first item, and it was the same item.
He's so quick.
He's fast. Google SGE, which, as I mentioned, is their experiment. What does it stand for? Search Generative Experience. It's their experimental AI search is now rolling out an AI image generator. Is anybody in the SGE yet? You have to be in the experimental.
Nope.
Guess what? I'm sure I can't get into it.
I was just looking
makes
for the
sense.
about this image rollout. Haven't seen it yet on Android 14.
Yeah. So everybody can do that. Now, remember what a big deal it was when DALL-E came along, and oh my God. And they always had the fingers wrong.
Yeah.
But that was, and now with Midjourney, I feel like, I'll tell you what, my nephew, who works for a very well-known graphics agency, he's a graphics designer in New York City.
Cool.
Has a very big client. I won't say who it is, but they're a very big fast fashion client. They was just presenting to them. He did 3 different looks for their spring campaign. And I said, oh, that's really cool. Where'd you get the images? He said, Pinterest and AI. I did them all in Midjourney. So he did he was now able to do his presentations by generating Midjourney images that he would then use Photoshop to put models into, and proposed, and they picked one of them that was mostly AI. It was really interesting.
And he still got paid.
And he got paid.
You know?
In fact,
Because AI is not taking his job.
in fact,
it's enhancing his job.
he had to be a human had to do that.
Exactly.
But the fashion company he told him they said, those are great. He said, Midjourney. Anyway, I think it's gotten much better. Look for it now in Google's search experience. Bard this is also AI. Bard has added a better email summarization and image sharing. This is Bard
I can't get into it.
So we got to go to the experiments page because that's where you'll see all of this. If you're using the experimental Bard. Now, I signed up for the experiments. Here's Bard. Okay, so this is something that Bard's doing within Gmail, though, right? I mean, this is inside Gmail.
If you can add the experiments into, but
That would be, you can, I know. And Google's updated augmented reality beauty tools make it easier to buy cosmetics and hair dye. You can now try on different hairstyles. Well, we've had this forever.
I was about to say, this has been a thing for a long time, and it's never been good.
What would I look like with curly hair? So this users will be able to access Google's AR beauty tools outside of the Google app, as well as inside. When the hair and foundation categories roll out, they can be accessed from any mobile browser in the U.S. with the eye and lip makeout categories. Sorry. Makeup.
What?
Typically, don't want your tongue going in the eye.
With the eye and lip makeup categories expected to roll out in the coming weeks.
I love it when you kiss my eyes. It's so romantic.
YouTube started testing a similar AR ad feature in 2019, 4 years ago, but it hasn't been widely used. So they're going to try again. L'Oreal, Maybelline both tried to popularize the experience. Plenty of other notable cosmetic brands, as you pointed out, Paris, have already made their collections available to try in years past, but now they're doing it with Google's AR beauty tools since the feature was introduced in 2020, including CoverGirl, Dior Beauty, Fenty, Laura Mercier, and Makeup by Mario. Hey, I'm a Mario. Let me make you up. Physical.
Mario's famous for his great makeup.
Yes. Literally just throws
you
it to the
would look
wall.
good with a mustache.
That was an example of S-posting right there.
Right there.
Just right there.
Makeup by Mario. Physical cosmetic stores like Sephora and Ultra have facilitated virtual. Yeah, this is for years now.
So why are you harping on it?
Because Google's announced they're going to do it in it's Google shopping ads and mobile browsers. So
go home, Google. You're drunk.
Go home, Google. Nobody wants this. Never have. Never will. And that's the Google change law.
For what it was worth.
For what? It's FWIW. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, yes, believe it or not, it's the picks of the week next on This Week in Google. Paris Martineau, so glad to have you now as a regular on the show.
Yay.
There's her signal number.
I'll be here every week.
Are you still getting tips?
I am, yeah. Keep them coming, guys. Do you work at a tech company? Would love to talk to you.
267-797-8665. 267-797-8655.
That needs to be, you know what?
Jenny.
We need
Jenny,
a jingle.
I
If
got
I
you.
have the Newmark song, we need a phone number jingle for Paris, I think.
It's true. We could hire an entire choir.
Here it comes.
797-8655. Oh, 797-8655. I think that's pretty good. That's catchy.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Paris, did you want to do... by the way, you could carve out your own niche in terms of pick of the week. It doesn't have to be... It could be anything. It could be a book. It could be a movie. It could be a bicycle. It could be anything you want it to be. It could be a
rant.
stuff post.
Great. I've got two wildly different options for
Perfect.
this week,
Let's
and we're
do
going to do them both.
Okay.
Are we going now, or are you doing an ad break first?
No, this is it.
Oh, that was
okay.
fooling you.
That was the
that's to insert
pseudo
an
ad break.
later.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
If we don't
Takes one breath and then
the ad is there and gone.
Yeah.
All right, here we are. So
it's
my
subliminal
first
advertising,
pick-
Paris. You've
This
just
is
been
the future.
told to buy a magnet to put on your clothes, and you don't know it, but you're going to want to get this.
I'm going to wake up 2 a.m. I'm going to be like, wow, I've put down a deposit in a product that probably will never exist.
This is the power of podcasting.
797-8655.
It can
That's
tell
true.
you these things.
So what's your first pick?
My first pick is go to a corn maze with your friends. It's really fun.
We have one just
I
around
went to
the
a corn
corner.
maze.
There's
You
one in
should go.
Brooklyn?
It's great. There is one at the Queens County Farm Museum for anybody in the New York area.
You are
It
so
is
cute. Oh my
it is
God.
the largest working farm in the tri-state area.
Is this
It's
the entrance
huge.
or
They
the
have-
exit here?
Oh, that's the exit.
So you
That's
got- you
These are our
triumphed.
satisfied faces.
You
we
have triumphed.
You got to go all the way through it. If you click on the second link there on the rundown, they kind of have an overhead shot.
Why do
of
you
the corn
carry the
maze.
flag? Is that in case you...
Flag, yeah, that's what I was asking.
Everybody has to take a flag, each party, in case you get lost. You wave the flag around to signal that you need rescuing.
Or you could
we
do
did
what
not get
do.
lost.
You could do what we
Did
do
you
here
see
in
any waving
Petaluma.
flags?
We blaze our way through the corn.
I will say I did see a lot of people kind of just running through holes in the corn.
By the end
which
of
we did not do.
By the end of the spooky season, this corn maze we have here in Petaluma is just ruined because it's what people do, teenagers do. But it's fun. I agree with you. It's really fun.
It's really nice. They had a lot of they had a crossword that went along with the corn maze. So you could both go find your little puzzle pieces to get you through the corn maze.
Look at this. This is a good maze.
Yeah,
Look
I was about to say it's tractor shaped. That was this year's theme. It was very fun. Really recommend it. I've been wanting to do a corn maze for a while, and it's the spooky season, so treat yourself to a corn maze.
Can I tell you the trick? You must know this as a D&D player. I do use this all the time. You just stick to the left wall. You won't be the most efficient way out, but you will always get out if you put your hand on the left wall and never lose contact. Or you don't have to put your hand, but if you want to, and just follow it all around, you will always get out. And I do that when exploring dungeons in video games. I always go left, left, and eventually you get out. You could do the right wall. That's right. It would.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I had thought it was the right wall and suggested that to our group, but they quickly decided that was no fun, and we just had to venture.
It is no fun.
Corn maze.
It is no fun. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but you will always get out if you just stick to one wall.
3 hours later.
Not as you know
that
what?
is true.
Look at this maze.
You've got 100% the corn maze.
Yeah, you will. That's right. That's the bad side. Is you will actually go to every part of the maze. You won't. But how would you not? The thing is, the real risk in a maze of any kind is you double up, do it again, and you keep going to the same area again and again. So you could end up.
Yeah, this maze had kind of an interesting little gimmick, which is that you were given a blank map of the maze that you could fill in by going to. It was split into kind of 9 quadrants, and you had to find 9 different mailboxes hidden in the maze. And at each mailbox, you'd get an image of 1/9 of the map. So they kind to wanted you to 100% the maze, which was fun.
That's fun.
Then you completed the map and then could escape.
This is our local corn maze.
I've yet to go to this.
It's really fun. The problem is it's right next to the freeway. You see the freeway right there? Traffic is always jammed.
What is it next to the freeway in California?
Yeah. Traffic is always jammed as people are going by. Oh, look at the corn maze is back. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
What are the 2 platforms? Are those rescue platforms or something?
Yeah, I guess so. You could go there and see. We don't have flags in our corn maze. That's an East Coast
If you're
invention.
lost, you're
SOL. I think that's what the platforms probably are. Yeah. It's fun. I love corn mazes. I completely agree. I like mazes of all kinds. There are hedge mazes in Europe that I've done that are really challenging, really hard, really fun.
They just need to do this outside of football season.
Well, and that is...
That's why I haven't been. I've been here 4 years, and I've seen this dadgun maze.
Would you do me a favor?
Years.
Bring the hard heads and do it this year. And after you get tired
of football season for them too.
Well, you can go on a Tuesday.
Wait, how much football are you playing or watching that you can't go to a corn maze?
Oh, so it's open during the week too? I thought it was just the weekend.
Oh yeah, it's open all.
Oh, okay.
It's open right now. It's good. And after you get tired of wandering in circles, remember, put your hand on a wall and never take it off, and you'll get back.
Or just bold.
They actually offer maps too. You can get a map if you're a cheater.
Okay, my second recommendation is I'll probably mention this multiple times. I'm a really big fan of this actual play D&D show called Dimension 20. It's on this streaming network called Dropout. I'd really recommend it. It's the people who used to do College Humor, but they're
they're
way
hysterical.
Elevated.
Yeah.
They're hysterical. And this is a kind of live action D&D game. Takes place over 10 episodes. This is their newest season. It's called Burrow's End. It is about a family of stoats, and it's kind of like Watership Down meets Secrets of Nim. It seems at first quaint, but it is fantastically horrifying.
You should be on this.
I'm not nearly funny enough to be on this, but
come on.
These people are also professional. They're professional
comics.
Improvisers, and the GM for this game, Abria, and one of the players, Brennan, they're professional dungeon masters as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's an incredible story. It is like you are watching a HBO like miniseries, but it is being improvised live.
Wow.
It's incredible.
That's
and
some skill.
the other
Professional
thing,
dungeon masters?
That's some skill.
yes, that is their entire job. And Brennan, the one who kind of like started Dimension 20, this series, he's probably, I'd say, like the second most popular dungeon master in the world. The first is this guy, Matt Mercer, who does Critical Role. But it's his entire job. And part of the reason I wanted to bring this up, because I've been watching this new season. It's great for the spooky season. If you want to watch the first episode, it's free on their YouTube. But in their second episode, so the thing that is interesting about this is like D&D games, you have, your normal role playing, but you also can have battle sequences. And the thing that sets Dimension 20 apart from other shows is they do these really intricate sets where they build kind of like a place for them to do a battle in. And
this is beautiful.
They had a really cool battle set recently that, like, true warning if anybody is easily scared by like artificial gore, but they had a recent battle set where the whole battle, the characters are all stoats that are traveling through kind of a spooky forest, and the battle took place inside of a zombie bear, and it is the coolest set I've ever seen. It is a full bear that when you open it, like, they are inside the actual bear and, going around doing their little D&D things with their little characters in the organs that are like beating. It's so cool.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah.
Is it? So I'm really intrigued by this. So it's possible to make a living as a dungeon master. Like that could be a job.
Actually, so I mean, College Humor collapsed, I think. Right before the pandemic.
Right.
IAC was their parent company. They had previously launched this streaming service called Dropout, and their first ever kind of thing on it was the first season of this show, Dimension 20. Once College Humor folded, they ended up selling it to one of the executives there for like a couple bucks, and he tried to make this service work on its own, and they've been able to build a totally sustainable media company over the last couple of years because of the popularity of this show, Dimension 20.
It's not ad supported either. This is supported by its viewers.
It's all subscription based. I mean, they have a really popular kind of YouTube channel. They've gotten a lot of inbound stuff or subscribers from the popularity of their stuff on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. But the core of it is Dimension 20. Their Burroughs End, this season I'm talking about, is their 20th show of this. And every season, the sets get way more complex or interesting. They're always doing really novel stuff. It doesn't really feel like you're watching people play D&D. It feels like you are like watching art be made live. It's super cool.
I'm really intrigued because they're able to make it not via ad support, but by contributions. Do you buy a show or do you buy all of Dropout?
Yeah, you can just subscribe to Dropout. I'm forgetting what it is. It's like a nominal monthly subscription fee. I think it's under $10. And you get access to, I mean, outside of Dimension 20.
$50 a year or $6 a month, but it's a lot less than Netflix.
It's really... Yeah, it is. They have a lot of shows that are essentially like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but for, 2023. They recently had Wayne Brady on a couple of their kind of panel-based improv shows, and he's like, I've been a huge Dropout fan for the longest time. You guys are Whose Line Is It Anyway, but for now.
Can you watch Dropout on an Apple TV, or do you have to watch it on a computer? Do they have an app?
Yeah, they've got the app on basically every platform, Apple TV, Roku.
So it's a streaming service that's inexpensive.
It's a streaming service.
And comedy focused.
And it is run by improvisers, for improvisers. It's homegrown.
It's very encouraging to me that you can survive doing stuff like this. That's really good news, I think.
Yeah, they, I think, just celebrated their 5th anniversary as a company and did kind of a
Because College Humor didn't, right?
No, College Humor. And so specifically on their 5th anniversary, which was like within the last month, they decided we're dropping the College Humor name. We don't think that it reflects us as a platform.
And yet College Humor did so much funny stuff, and they had Will Ferrell, and they had great names, and they couldn't make it. And this can, which I don't know what that says. I guess there's a market for a certain kind of nerdy humor. I don't know what it says.
I mean, this has been kind of the renaissance of D&D content, both in terms of people playing the game, but also in terms of people being able to make sustainable media businesses off of actual play shows.
Makes me really happy.
Critical Role is,
they're
I
huge.
think, the highest
They're number
earning one on Twitch. Or Twitch. Close, but
don't confuse them. Were you a D&D player as a child? Or did you come to this as an adult?
I honestly got into it through like stuff like Dimension 20 and podcasts about it.
Interesting.
But I'm obsessed. I think it is such a good system for which to tell great stories and like watch improvisers shine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very good. Dropout.
2 dungeon
Check it out.
masters
They've got a YouTube channel where you can watch some of their stuff for free as well.
And it's dropout.tv if you want to subscribe. Mm-hmm. What a pick. This is very interesting. I'm really now opening my eyes to the possibility. Jeff Jarvis, number of the week.
Let me mention 2 things. One, I saw my good friend Craig Newmark the other day, and we did as we usually do. We talked about Chromebooks. Newmark. And decided which one to get. And I was still concerned about the 250 nits of the HP I was planning to get, and I'm still undecided.
You know what? I was thinking more after our conversation last week, and I think that it's not about the brightness so much as that's an indicator it's not a very good screen.
Great. Yeah.
In other words, if they spent money on a high quality screen, it would be it's not just the brightness. And this is very common in Chromebooks where in order to get that price point low, the keyboard or the trackpad or the screen are all three. Yeah, but they have to cut somewhere. And so
exactly.
That to me is not so much about the brightness, but about a general indicator this might not be the best.
The others are 300.
Yeah.
Which is that much more. But anyway, so the Craig emailed me today. I wouldn't have seen this because it takes me a while to get through all my newsletters. Our good friend Kevin Toffel in the About Chromebooks had a special Wednesday edition letting folks know that there is a $100 to $200 discount at Best Buy on all the Chromebook Pluses. So, Paris, you can go out there and get yourself a Chromebook tonight. You can ride your bike to it and get to the Best Buy, and you can buy yourself a Chromebook. So
I'd be able to use the top half of my screen
and use it as a paperweight.
Hey, what have I done to you?
An expensive.
So the other thing I wanted to mention, which I found interesting, is that Jezebel is up for sale. Says Axios.
This is the woman-focused magazine, right?
From Gawker Media.
From Gawker.
It was
so it's a website, not a magazine. Yeah.
Yes. And Go Media ended up with a lot of the leftovers of Gawker. And now they're saying, well, the rest of Go Media is pretty male, so we're going to sell this. But interesting, if you go down the list in the Axios report about it, Refinery 29 was bought by Vice, so it's stuck in that Vice, pardon me. The Skim, which was the darling, I guess I shouldn't use that word, I guess the what's the word I'm looking for?
Crown Jewel.
One of the great ones.
Crown Jewel.
Thank you. Well, that's still kind of feminine. I don't know. Founded in 2012, just did a bunch of layoffs and has cut on back on new initiatives. Been trying to sell. BDG, the owner of Bustle and Zoe Report and Elite Daily, it was looking to do a SPAC, but then pulled back on that. Bitch Media folded a little bit ago. So I'm curious, Paris, do you follow this side of online media?
I don't particularly follow many like gender specific media sites, but I think it's an interesting issue. The fact that Geo Media already is, struggling to make its business work. Of course, they're going to want to sell off parts of it. It would make sense since they're leaning into advertising supported media that they'd want to sell off a part of it that doesn't fit with their advertiser profile. But it's like, who do you sell that to? I think the only thing that comes to mind is the 19th, but I don't think they have the money to be buying anything. And Jezebel is an interesting case because the thing that made them novel and I think a kind of viable part of the media ecosystem is they didn't write things that were clearly stories for women. They cover, politics and news, but their writers often approach those subjects with the idea of women in mind, which is kind of the approach the 19th takes. But obviously Jezebel is a much more crass, and I say that lovingly, blog.
Yeah. In Ben Smith's book, Traffic, where he profiles Nick Gawker's business alongside BuzzFeed's, it's interesting the role that Jezebel plays, because it kind of confounded Nick at points, but really had an important role in a period of the web. So I would find it to be a terrible shame if it ends up, bought by some even worse traffic factory. But so,
I mean, I think that's the way much of the great parts of the web are going, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think that advertising supported media is not leaving much room for things like that to exist.
Nope, I agree. So that was my downer for the day.
Nice. Thanks for bringing me down.
Yeah.
Aunt Pruitt, I actually was going to plug this myself. Did a great blog post on the images in the Pixel 8 Pro camera.
Thank you.
And the one reason you maybe might not want to get it,
which is,
I don't know, you shouldn't tell anybody, because they should all go
read it
to twit.tv and read the post. Pixel 8 Pro camera, super capable camera with one imperfection. It's very good link, babe. Well done. Bravo.
Thank you.
It's really good. You did a lot of images. You showed a lot of what's going on and so forth. I think this is one of the best articles I've read, actually, about the Pixel 8 Pro camera. So
thank you, sir.
Thanks for writing it. And it's on our website.
Lots of fun.
We're trying to do more text, because I don't know why, but we are. Because you can search for it and find it. And it's one of the problems with podcasts. So a lot of times it will be as a support for a review or something else that we've done, in this case for your Pixel 8 review, I presume.
Well, Mr. Howell did a Pixel 8 review for Tech News Weekly, but I had to throw in my 2 cents because, like I said, it's a nice camera, but that one thing really pissed me off.
If you go to twit.tv and scroll down a little bit, you will see under latest posts. There it is. Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
And you wrote one for Floss Weekly, too, which is cool. Thank you.
That show is pretty fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
I'm not the open source, person like you are, but they have some really good discussions on there, really good guests.
Yeah.
And Mr. Searles is quite fun.
Doc's going to be one of the old guys doing our... we've decided to upgrade that Old Farts podcast. Jeff and Doc and I are going to do on December 7th to our holiday episode of TWiT. So club members will get to see it December 7th, but just this just in.
Just in.
It was a great holiday episode. We kind of did it last year with Steve Gibson, Paul Thurrott, you and Doc and me, and maybe we'll get Paul or Steve or somebody to join in again.
Steve
was great. Remember with his Grinch hat? And
get Mr. Wilkinson too.
Oh, Scott Wilkinson.
You're gonna try to get him too.
What we were thinking, just between us kids, is Scott could make a special appearance as Santa Claus, because he's got the ho ho ho. He's very good at that.
Tuba Christmas time
too. Yeah.
So I'll have you know that I'm flying back from Vienna so I can make it for that show.
Oh, well, come on! Why don't you do it from Vienna?
Oh, with my crappy Chromebook?
Yeah, good point.
What else did you want to mention, Ant, besides your review?
I wanted to mention A Million Miles Away is a movie on Amazon Prime for you folks that are into space and astronauts and all that good stuff. It's about Dr. Jose Hernandez. Great movie, really, really well done, heartwarming, might tug at your tear ducts here and there. But I only watched that because he was on This Week in Space last week.
Michael Pena?
No, not him.
Jose Hernandez was.
Dr. Jose Hernandez, the former NASA astronaut, was on the show last week. Oh, my God. TD, and I got to talk to him pre-show to do his little tech check and stuff. Man, that dude's all right. That was a hell of an interview.
He was born in Michoacan, Mexico.
And they lived in Stockton, right around the corner. Moved to
Stockton, became an astronaut.
First migrant family to be an astronaut.
That's really great.
Such a great story. And he's just, I I like cut of his jib. Is that the phrase? I can't remember.
The cut of his jib.
Yeah, he's
no one knows what it means, but I'm glad you like it.
Don't think too hard about it.
It's This Week in Space number 84, Hometown Hero at twit.tv.
So make sure y'all check that out. It was a good one.
Thank you. And the movie based on his life, A Million Miles Away, on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
That's
really cool.
Good.
Yeah,
really good.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh boy. For our escape room, which will be, what is it, 3 p.m. Pacific?
3 p.m. Pacific,
6
here
p.m.
in the
Eastern,
club.
2200 UTC. You've got to be a club member. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit if you're not yet a member.
I wonder if I should wear a helmet and elbow pads and stuff like
you
that.
Should.
For protection.
You need protection. Because I think Paris was right. There'll be lots of gnashing of teeth and screaming. And
like I said, I'm just nervous because we have Mr. Burke involved, and y'all know Mr. Burke.
He has a very big hammer.
Yeah. Give him tools.
I was going to say, I think he's been talking a big game in the chat about a chainsaw arm.
Oh, Lord.
Be prepared.
That sounds
Is the dog allowed in the room?
Yeah, Lily's got to be part of our escape room, doesn't she?
She'll fit in the box.
She'll fit into it. Jeff Jarvis is the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York, and was named one of the 100 most eligible bachelors in San Francisco.
Which I bragged about twice.
Many years ago.
Because who would believe it?
Many years ago. So long ago. Thank you, Jeff.
Did they even have 100 other? Did they have 102 other eligible bachelors in San Francisco at that time, or was it?
Because you think I'm 101 or 102?
I mean, you could hit in the top 100 if there were only like
you make a good point, Paris. 100 is a rather large number.
Listen, I'm not going to discount the power of that image. I think you can let it speak for itself.
Jeff, were you like 99 on this list?
Well, at the time there were only 100. At the time there were only 100 straight men in San Francisco. So
that is,
pretty much it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Jarvis. And Paris Martineau, once again, welcome to. You may have deep regrets about this point.
I was going to say, you guys may regret this.
No, we do not, but you may. Thank you so much for making us part of your week. We thank you. You'll find Paris at theinformation.com, where she does great coverage of big tech. Her signal number 267-797-8655. And you can call her with a big scoop. Give her a big scoop. Thank you, Paris.
Leak me all your company secrets. Thanks, guys.
See you in the corn maze. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We do Twig This Week in Google every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us do it live at live.twit.tv. Watch or listen. There's a live audio stream as well. If you're watching live, chat live in our Discord as a Club Twit member or in our open to all IRC, irc.twit.tv. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show available, of course, on our website, twit.tv/twig. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to This Week in Google, but the best way to get it, subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and that way you don't have to think about it. You just download it automatically every week the minute we're done. Thank you, everybody. We'll have a great time tomorrow. Join us for the escape room, and we will see you next Wednesday on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Come join us on This Week in Enterprise Tech. Expert co-host and I talk about the enterprise world, and we're joined by industry professionals and trailblazers like CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, CISOs, every acronym role, plus IT pros and marketeers. We talk about technology, software plus services, security, you name it, everything under the sun. You know what? I learn something each and every week, and I bet you will too. So definitely join us. And of course, check out the twit.tv website and click on This Week in Enterprise Tech to subscribe today.